It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Mark Butler is in this morning, and he and I have already been arguing about politics. Already. And I'm like, that West Canada has enough water. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, and that's one of the things I want to talk about. You are going to
Really?
have trouble with this. I have bought a house in Utica. My daughter's living there, so don't do some kind of investigation.
Okay, you're not leaving the mayorship of... by the way, ladies and gentlemen...
my residence is still in Newport. I want to make that clear. But every time that bill comes from the Mohawk Valley Water Authority...
Oh, it really irks you.
Signing that check.
Mark is the mayor of Newport, New York. How are things in Newport? And if I can, Mark, just a little of your bio.
Sure.
A comedian wannabe. Sorry. Mark is a former assemblyman.
Right.
And
23 years in the assembly. And I'm still sane.
Former, believe it or not, and this is an oxymoron, I mean, because you are a Republican, also a former reporter. And they get hit a little hard by the president.
But
a reporter from the Observer-Dispatch.
But in those days, we were, as they say, fair and balanced.
Okay, you'll see what we were arguing about a few minutes ago. But you spent a lot of time with the OD, and then
10 years.
And then you moved on to the assembly.
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I wasn't going to give you your entire resume, but okay, go on.
Well, 10 years at Utica National Insurance.
That's
true. And I was in corporate communications, and that's where I picked up a little polish.
And that helped probably. And now as a retired member of the New York State Assembly, you are the mayor of Newport. And if I can add one more oxymoron to your resume, your wife is in education.
She is,
and an administration, as a matter of fact, right?
Well, she's retired now, but she was instrumental in a program that they're still trying to monitor called R4K Ready for Kindergarten, because New York is so often the case, the way our regulations are written. You can register your child in kindergarten if they're born on January 1st or December 31st. So the kids at the end, in the later, you start out.
I was one of those 4-year-olds in kindergarten.
That explains.
Yeah, that's.
But I mean,
I thought I'd give you that little slow pitch to.
But the point being, if you start out a year behind, you're always behind and probably fall further behind.
There was
they've been fighting to change that rule.
There was a Canadian that wrote a whole book in a series. I forgot his name, but I listened to the audiobook. I can't remember his name. Anyway, his whole thing was about that group of that were born November, December, even that latter half of the year, and how they went in to school, and it usually lasted all the way through, unless they repeated a grade.
Yes.
But that's an interesting thing. The other part is she was in Dolgeville.
Yes, elementary principal.
One of the most mispronounced municipalities in all of the area. Here in Utica, they call it Dodgeville, and I keep trying to remind people it's Dolgeville.
Yeah. Well,
there's an L in there.
When I was in the assembly, I went to go to Dolgeville they introduced me not as Assemblyman. I was Sue Butler's husband. That's
okay,
how
that's
I got
good.
introduced, and it was probably true.
And that probably still continues today.
Yes, very often.
All right. Well, it's good to have you here. Davey, a little programming alert. Willie Waffle out sick this morning, so we won't have Willie, although there's some streaming stuff we can talk about. And maybe somebody from Skylar has some ideas. I heard from Mike already this morning on a series that they're watching. Normally we get into the entertainment stuff. Have you seen Severance? Do you watch any of these?
I didn't see Severance.
The 11th of 12 episodes, I believe, is when they featured the train station in Utica, which is really pretty cool. Let's see. I do want to also clarify in the news that Robert Hullum has resigned his post as chairman. He has not resigned from the legislature, so he is still a duly elected. And this is kind of the complicated part for people.
Exactly. Yes,
he's still an elected member of the legislature, and according to their rules, that's a pretty serious thing to remove someone who's been elected by the people. And according to their rules, they really can't right now.
Yes. Well, I was at a conference over the last couple of days at Herkimer College and talked to some of the county officials. And you're absolutely right. Back in '64, when they formulated the rules for the new legislature, that it probably never occurred to them what
something like this could
do if a situation like this. But let me say this:
Can I add one more part of that? And people can easily look at that and say, well, that's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Yeah.
The problem is the reason those rules exist is because in heated political times, all of a sudden you can have the majority party start ousting a member of the minority party just based on philosophy.
Exactly.
But go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say I want to reach out to Bob. I consider him a friend. We've had a relationship over the years.
This has been hard. It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah. And but hang on, bud. You've done the right thing. Get yourself straightened around, and when your personal problems like that are on the front page of the newspaper, or even worse, on the Bill Keeler show.
Okay, thank you for that. It's hard. It's hard for everybody.
It's hard for everybody. Yes,
we're but I have no choice but to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. I understand.
If this was someone I didn't know, we'd be all over it. And we'd be saying, why have they not gotten rid of this guy? Right?
Perfectly understandable. But for him, I mean, he's got a problem.
Yeah.
And your own personal life is just laid out bare and front page of the newspaper. It's painful.
I know that he had there was a lot of advice that was given early on when this first happened to take time off, go into check yourself in.
Yep.
And come back a new person, and in this day and age, you can say, I had a problem, I fixed it, I'm sorry, and I'd like to, I'd like your forgiveness. And in this day and age, that flies.
I agree with you. When you dig down deep, he's a good man.
Veteran, by the way. He is a veteran.
Get rid of your personal devils and then move on from there. Yes.
So nonetheless, that decision was made. Today they will make Peter Campione the chairman of the legislature there, and Pete's a good guy.
Yep.
And then I think that I would think they really need to take a look at the rules.
I think they probably will look those over. That was the way the rules were written.
Yeah,
that's what I was told by the county. Their hands were tied.
Yeah,
you would not take any action. Yeah.
You would not expect to have a situation like this that you have to deal with. Let's see. Yankees and Mets both lose. No, the Yankees won. The Mets lost. The Mets lost. I don't know. I know the Mets lost. Mets lost two.
The Yankees were off last night.
Well, then they didn't lose. 2 in a row, the Mets have lost. First time since the beginning of the season that's happened. Long season.
But I traveled.
We'll see.
I traveled down.
You saw the Mets and Yankees
to see the Yankees and Mets last night. The Rail Riders won 19-6.
Wow.
I left after it was 12. They were up to 8 runs, so I took off.
And they don't take the Yankees as their
No, they're the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders.
Rail Riders. So what a big win there. But listen, it's a fun time out in Syracuse.
Yeah, it was $2 hot dogs and
$3 draft beer.
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta be there, Bill.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that. So we'll deal with that this morning in studio here this morning. And being that you are a Republican former assemblyman, I'm saying let's not get into a big fight with a Democrat who's coming in studio this morning.
I'll behave. And by the way, Republican conservative. But I have to tell you,
let me just say, Congressman John Manion will be in studio talking about Chobani and the president's first 100 days. And there's a big thing that we have to keep our eye on, and that is the funding for Micron in Syracuse. So that's a real big deal that we have to. And you wanted to do one more.
Well, yes, and I started to tell you I was at it was called a Brownfields Summit for 2 days at Herkimer County Community College. We had speaker after speaker about what the economy is, where it's heading. And it was very interesting. But after 2 days, I walked away. There was a real spirit there that maybe the transformation has begun. There was some real optimism in what brownfields are, and I'm sure most people know. But it's where you have these abandoned buildings. How can we take them down? Where can we find the funding, and then redevelop into something productive?
Oftentimes, the soil underneath and around is toxic, and
but I met one of the women who's involved with the Remington redevelopment, so she gave me her card under those. But I really want to talk to her and see what's happening there.
Nice.
That affects us all.
It's a big deal. It affects everybody.
And I got to tell you, overarching it all was this Chobani announcement.
Huge.
I mean, that generated a lot of excitement at this conference.
Well, there will be much more talk about that, and I believe they've already put shovels in the ground, but the real construction gets underway in just about a month and a half. Yeah. So that's pretty huge. Let me take, and we'll talk more about it coming up. Let me take Ryan Schmelz, who's with us from Fox News Radio. Big announcement yesterday that came as a surprise. I think there were two surprises in this. Mike Walls and his deputy are out on of their jobs, but then what happens? And then let's talk to Ryan. Let's talk to Ryan about that. Good morning, Ryan Schmelz.
Oh gosh, where do we even start with this one? Yeah, right.
Yes.
This is I think one of those stories that kind of just sums up the news cycle of the new Trump administration, where where the members fly out. It's like 11 o'clock. Jeffries is doing his weekly press conference. We find out that Waltz is now going to be out as the national security advisor as well as his deputy. But then, a couple hours later, we're getting ready to wrap things up for the day, and the Truth Social post comes down, and I'm running around the Senate subway showing all the reporters, like, oh my God, this is crazy. I broke the news to Senator Josh Hawley about this, like, hey, did you see Michael Waltz is now the national security or the new UN ambassador? And he's like, whoa, okay.
That is crazy.
And his first reaction is, poor Elise Stefanik.
Yeah. I know. And then, that there is, Ryan, there is more going on. I mean, these underlying stories of tension, I think that this really underscores that there is tension over all of this stuff. And then, and only the Trump administration would put this out in two parts. So he throws it out, but I'm being fair here.
You're starting now, Bill. You're starting on me.
He throws it out for everybody to start hammering, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, I'm nominating him as ambassador to the United Nations." Right? I mean, that's the reaction everybody had. Wow, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and it's just it was quite the day, and of course, the reaction I'm kind of getting is, well, this almost guarantees that Elise Stefanik's now going to run for governor of New York, or at least it's going to be more likely that she runs, because this was, she uprooted her whole life. Was getting ready to move to New York. You had her staff had kind of been transitioned over too, and she was kind of stuck in limbo for this very long period of time only to be moved back to the House of Representatives and put into a different position within GOP leadership that isn't exactly the same as what she had before. It's not really clear where she is in the hierarchy of GOP leadership. And so so I think this was a very frustrating moment for her. And, of course, you've got the somewhat public feud that's going on between her and Speaker Johnson right now, where she accused him of pretty much lying. Now, Speaker Johnson says that's been worked out, but of course, I think the rumblings are still now going out there because of that.
Yeah, is anything ever worked out as it rumbles through the media? I got to tell you, my take on this will be different. And by the way, Ryan, we have a guest host in. His name is Mark Butler.
How are you, Ryan?
New York State Assemblyman.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
And I got to tell you, I think it's a bad move. I don't think she runs for governor, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think that in the current climate in New York State, I don't think she can win. And this is not the days of, the last Republican governor we had was George Pataki. This is a different world today. And New York City has all of the population. It'll be a very tough run for her as governor, in my opinion.
Yeah,
well,
and I think,
let me say, in the last gubernatorial race, the Republicans came very close. There's that little bit of, I think she can do it.
Well, very close is like Trump saying, I won the black vote. There was a big improvement, but it wasn't victory, in my opinion.
20 of 7, and you're starting already, bro.
Brian, go ahead. Your take on this.
And I think from the people I've talked to on Capitol Hill about this, I think the thought is that, yes, the ball's in her court now. That's what the GOP source in New York said to me yesterday. But they also believe, well, you're still in a position where even if Kathy Hochul was the most hated governor of all time and Republicans ran the most popular candidate of all time, it's still going to be an uphill climb for Republicans just because of the state demographics and how many more registered Democrats there are than Republicans. That doesn't mean a Republican can't win in New York. I mean, certainly they can. You saw it happen in Maryland with Larry Hogan. You've seen Republicans in Massachusetts win the gubernatorial race there several times since I've been alive. So it's definitely a possibility, but it's still going to be a challenge no matter what, just because of the state demographics. And I think, too, remember what's in Stefanik's position, it's, you could run for governor of New York, or you could just be patient. I know that's going to be very hard ask after everything she's been through over the last couple of months. But look, after the midterms are over, if Republicans lose the House or if they gain more seats in the House, she's in a better position to get put back into the Trump administration in a different role, because the majority is not going to play as much of a factor that time. If the majority is even either bigger, or if they lose the majority, it doesn't really matter if they lose
at that point. And I think that's the move, and because she's in a place where she can't lose. No one is going to beat her in this congressional district. And you know what? She plays her cards right. She remains the problem she has in New York. The second problem here is that she's so tied to Trump. And that really, unfortunately, what that does, look what it just did in Canada. That anti-Trump vote gets inspired to come out. People who normally might not vote in a gubernatorial election, those Democrats in New York City come out. So it'll be interesting all the way around. But I think the safest move is be a loyal soldier, and something good will come down the road. That's my take.
I think. Yeah, I think that's all going to play into it for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Ryan, great conversation. We appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. You seem to disagree.
Well, we just had that conversation. What about 95 when Trump beat Cuomo and was reelected, 2 or 3 times after that? Those were what I call the golden days of New York State, by the way.
When Trump beat...
Pataki.
Pataki. Again, Pataki was a moderate, though. There's a little different. And while Elise was a moderate, I think she's positioned herself so closely to Trump. However, with this bit of Mike Johnson bickering going back and forth, who knows what could happen. I'm just simply looking at it from the outside, thinking New York is a tough one, but where she is, she's safe as can be. She could be there as long as she wants to be. I would assume.
I would have to agree with
and maybe she doesn't want to be. That might be the problem. All right, I have a quick break, and Megan does an update on news coming up here. Mark Butler is in. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. And we'll continue coming up at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone. Herkimer County Legislature Chairman Robert Hullum has resigned. He said in a letter released yesterday that he will be stepping down from his position immediately, saying it is the best for the county and its residents. Vice President Peter Campione will serve as the next chairman of the Herkimer County Legislature. Hullum has been arrested 3 times since last May and is currently being held at Oneida County Jail without bail. He was first arrested on drug and open container charges on May 19th of last year, and then again on September 11th for storing a weapon unsafely. He was arrested again for violating the terms of his probation. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is asking the public to help them find their most wanted person of the week. Authorities are searching for 35-year-old Nicole Bornshine, who is wanted on a charge of burglary in the 3rd degree and for violating the terms of drug court. She is now wanted on a bench warrant. Bornshine is described as a 5'2" white female who is approximately 130 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. Her last known address is in Oneida. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. Governor Kathy Hochul plans to keep moving with Manhattan's congestion pricing despite the feds threatening to withhold funding if the tolling program doesn't stop by the 21st. Hochul says the cameras are staying on and says it's the state's right on how it wants to manage traffic. She added the data shows congestion pricing is working. The feds under President Trump took back approval of the program, and that prompted a lawsuit by the MTA and a battle currently playing out in court now. And former First Lady Michelle Obama says, quote, everybody would know. When addressing speculation about possible marital strife with former President Barack Obama, the former First Lady shut down the chatter while appearing on a podcast. Her response came after the podcast host noted the former First Lady's absence at President Trump's inauguration in January, which ignited online discord over the couple's 32-year union. Obama replied, quote, the beauty of my husband and our partnership is that neither one of us was ever going to quit at it, because that's not who we are. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, wrapping up the week with a little damp weather. Could be some damp streets left over this morning, a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm through about midday, but I think into the afternoon we'll get at least a little bit of sunshine with the passing shower, thunder showers, 75. Showers, thunder showers back tonight, scattered around 52. A few showers around tomorrow with a high of 60, and Sunday more showers likely, 62. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, we're at, 55 degrees. Megan with another update coming up top of the hour. We'll talk about some streaming stuff that we've been into, although Willie Waffle is off, normally in on Friday mornings. Mark Butler is in. He'll take his place with great vigor.
That's the word I would use.
Okay. We'll get to that coming up. Stand by. It is 6:44 at WIBX.
Empowered Pathways invites you to an unforgettable evening. Come to the table. Happening Friday, May 16th at Hart's Hill Inn in Whitesboro. Enjoy a cocktail hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Stunning table designs by local artists, silent auctions, themed baskets, and a delicious dinner prepared by Hart's Hill Inn.
And don't miss the highlight of the night, an exciting live auction where you can go home with a one-of-a-kind designer table. Hosted by Susan Knackley with live music from local favorite Ronnie Lee. It's a night you won't want to miss.
Proceeds support Empowered Pathways' life-changing programs, from conflict resolution and job training to youth and family services, making a real impact right here in our community.
Doors open at 4:30. The fun kicks off at 5:30. Join us Friday, May 16th at Hart's Hill Inn. Learn more at empoweredpathwayscny.org. That's empoweredpathwayscny.org.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning. Mark Butler is in studio here. Good morning. Good morning. Mark and I have some very good history. We've done each year. We do the thing down with
the tailgate party at
Rocky Theater. The Waterfront Grill is always a great event.
Yeah.
A couple of roasts.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that.
With
one of them, you practically ended my political career, but I won't go too deeply into that.
It wasn't that bad. But everybody thought it was. Let's see. Mike this morning said, well, you had said, let's just, no holds barred.
Yeah.
Let's treat it like, an real old-fashioned roast.
Okay.
And we did.
Yeah.
And you did it mine, if you recall. Let's see. Ask Willie about, and unfortunately Willie is not in this morning. I got people that always have questions about streaming, but Mike says we started watching on Netflix last night 4 seasons, which has an all-star cast including Steve Carell, Tina Fey. Pretty funny, and they actually mention Utica during different parts of the seasons. Anyway, it's something to watch. We'll get into that. What do you stream stuff?
Yeah. We just finished up. It was called American Primeval. It was on Netflix.
Yeah.
A little bit violent, but it was about going out west, and I didn't understand it. In Utah, the Mormons, the Indians, and the settlers, there was
I did not know that
always
either.
conflicts, and I guess the Mormons have condemned this series, but it was just interesting from a historical perspective. I really got into it.
It's amazing how today there's just so much stuff where you can just watch right from your house.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and sometimes it's gotten to the point where it's like when you look and you have how many channels do you have to go through? It's like it's almost like there's so much that you become overloaded and you can't figure out what to. Well, there you are scrolling through. It's like there's nothing to watch. You have 9,000 shows you could watch.
Yeah. You hit one of the sore points with me though. Spectrum, which we have.
Yes.
I loved it. We had all kinds of channels, and then they sent us this box, and you had to hook it up. We're just change anything. It's to your advantage. And suddenly, every channel that I liked, other than the major networks, that's a subscription cost.
Yeah.
So they maybe save money at one end, but it's more expensive than the other.
The other part is those new boxes that they send out that are better are clunky. Difficult to use, and then you can go to their app, which is terrible. Yeah. We dumped all of that, to be honest. I kept the internet because...
Yeah, I'm a history nut, and I love the History Channel and the Military Channel, and they're...
Yeah, off those. Richard this morning, a little Elon Musk update. He says he originally saved the USA $2 trillion. Then it was lowered to $1 trillion in savings, but let's correct it to now maybe $150 billion in savings. Now the business news networks have reported no savings and actually an increase in losses now because of the layoffs. Tesla wants to replace him as CEO of Tesla. They say he's not very smart. I'm not sure that you can say that about Elon Musk. But, I mean, you do wonder, and I think he was basically being such a wealthy person. I think he just was going to do what he wanted to do, and he went out and did. But it has cost him, I think, dearly.
Well, in his defense, and I'm not a numbers guy, but when you look at what the national debt was and what we were paying more in interest on our debt than we're paying for national defense. I've heard somewhere we were going to hit the wall, and maybe we've hit the wall now, and it's not going to be pleasant. I think there's going to be some adjustments and some pain, as the president has said, but I think we need to look around the other side. And as I said when we started out, I think we're seeing some optimism here in the Mohawk Valley, Chobani, high-tech things, and most of all, the Mohawk Valley Water Authority doing well.
Well, listen, I mean, in the problems with the water and Alien, you could hope the Mohawk Valley Water Authority can get down there and
Herkimer now has been having their
and Herkimer as well. Yeah. So interesting stuff, though. Let's see. What did I leave for myself here this morning? I thought this was crazy. Remember this song, Davey, which was a big one, and I think it was, for some, it was very controversial. The song "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which I can identify with. I don't know about you. But the singer who sang that song,
I kissed the girl.
That's it, Davey. The singer who sang that song,
she's dead?
Has died.
Oh no!
She was 66 years old.
She was.
She was. Jill Sobelay, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, she has died in a house fire. Of all crazy things.
Bizarre.
Very bizarre. There it is. Very, very bizarre.
Did that ever hit number one?
I don't know where it went, Davey. I do not know the answer to that, but it was a big one. And it had everybody, all up in arms. TikTok is slamming a woman named Amanda for her messy car and the fact that she travels in it with her young son. I've seen, you ever go to the grocery store and you see a car that is filled? Now, there are, what do they call the people? They're hoarders.
Yes.
And the vehicle is filled from you can only sit in the passenger, in the driver's seat. Even the passenger seat is filled to the top with stuff. Now, that person's either moving and used every ounce of space in that vehicle, or I don't want to look at what it looks like in the house.
Or maybe they just own a small house and need some extra storage space there.
Think these things. I'm trying to be optimistic.
Yes,
you're right.
All right.
I was driving on Black River Boulevard last night, and I seen exactly what you're talking about. But this one was filled with all pizza boxes up to the window and in the back seat. It was bad.
With pizza boxes?
I don't
understand.
A fairly large lady was driving the car too, so it was all pizza boxes.
All right. Well, let's not say that about a person.
Oh, sorry.
A really nice woman was
really
driving.
Nice lady.
Yeah, she was driving the vehicle, and it was filled with pizza boxes. Is there value in recycling pizza box? Can you go to the recycling center and they give you a nickel for every pizza box? I don't think so. I kind of wonder.
I got to do a shameless plug here.
Okay.
We had a new bakery open in Newport, and I went over, and they had these beautiful breakfast scones, and I came back to my office, and I'm talking to guys, and this thought flashed in my head, Playboy magazine, and I just used to read the story.
Yeah, of course you did.
There was this cartoon, this gentleman, Gay and Wilson, and there's these two people, older people, about $4.50 a piece, sitting on their porch, laying back, and he's got a chicken wing in his. And there's a Chicken Delight that moved next door, and he looks at her and says, "Sometimes I regret them moving here." He goes,
maybe she lives by a pizzeria. That could be, maybe this is
my point. To my point.
You got it. You never know. That it's so easy for us as Americans and human beings to look at something and say, "Wow, they're so stupid. Why did they do that?" When in reality, there may be a logical explanation if you just wait long enough to hear what the person has to say.
I'm sure that's a reality you have to deal with.
I do. I do. And I cannot wait to find out why. And if the woman is listening right now with the pizza boxes, I would love to know why all the pizza boxes? Maybe she's doing a real service to the community. Like maybe people, when they're done with their pizza, they throw out the box. She's going all around and picking them up, and she's off to the dump.
See, you liberals need to keep an open mind.
You're killing me. Anyway, TikTok slamming a woman named Amanda for her messy car, and apparently the fact that she's traveling in it with her young son. Her angle is that she's posting the videos to show her tidying up the process and how she does it. She says that she does have a bit of a hoarding problem.
Trigger warning, it's about to get ugly.
It's time to clean the car. It's a mess. I mean, this is just not right. Here's a dinosaur. Footballs. Oh, there's chocolate in here.
I know what you guys are going to say. How can you let the baby be in the car? How can you drive in the car like this? This is another thing that we've been blinded to that we are working on making it better. And yes, the baby is in the car with me while I'm doing this. It's the best way I could watch him while I got this done.
Oh, boy. The problem with things like TikTok and social media is that anyone can become a star for any reason. Civil War, you being a history buff, this might be a good story for you, Mark Butler.
Yes.
A Civil War era cannonball got thrown away in Michigan the other day, and the bomb squad had to be called to make sure it would not explode. Now, number one, I can look at this a couple different ways. They tell you do not throw batteries out in your garbage.
Right.
Because when it gets crushed, sometimes they can explode, causing a fire inside a garbage truck. Same thing here. You have a potential explosive. The other part of this is, can you imagine what that Civil War era cannonball is worth? A lot of money.
Who threw that out?
Who would throw that away? Anyway,
but like in Europe, I mean, farmers out in their field, they're still digging up bombs and mines and things. I mean, it's just a mess.
Yeah. Here is the employee of Kent County Public Works talking about the item. What happened?
Definitely piqued most people's interest in the office, I would say. Everyone wanted to see it. At that point, it was kind of like, yeah, okay, let's get this out of here and figure out what to do next. After our staff kind of took a look at it, did an initial examination, we decided it was best to call Grand Rapids Police Department. Once police arrived and confirmed that it was possibly explosive, that's when they evacuated the building. So it was brought outside, the bomb squad unit secured it in a bag.
And then probably sold it on eBay.
Yeah.
Made a little money.
Yeah.
And then one more. Are you familiar with barebacking? Now, being a guy that has been around like yourself, I would think you would know what barebacking is.
Yeah, but I don't like to discuss my personal life on the radio.
Sorry about that. One of the biggest viral terms coming out of 2024 was raw dogging on flights. Now there's a sequel. It's called barebacking. And what this is not what you think. It's riding a train or subway in places like New York City, commuting without tech. No headphones, no phone, no nothing, without any entertainment. And you just sit there and even go as so far as to possibly communicate with the person next to you.
Oh, my God.
It's unheard of throwback from the past. Why they call it barebacking, I have no idea. But it's all over social media. It's apparently the new term for 2025.
Well,
I got a break, and we'll get right back.
You
with
never want to listen to what I have to say.
We'll hear it on the other side. Stand by.
Jake and Elwood Blues here of the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever.
It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY Onstage Live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
Hey, it's me, your liver. You know, the organ that helps you recover every weekend after pizza, donuts, and all those drinks. But where's the love for your best buddy, the liver? The least that you could do to help me stay healthy is take Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox and helps protect me all year long.
You can find Active Liver at CVS and online at Amazon or directly from NewNordicUSA.com. Again, in stores at CVS or NewNordicUSA.com.
From the Manley Theater Studio. WIBX Utica, Rome. W295EI. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. A Town Square media station.
They're graduating in a golden age. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump told them at the University of Alabama last night.
Everybody should believe in the American dream. It's real, it's there, and it's right before you.
Telling the class of 2025,
borders are not racist, speech is not violence. America is good, terrorists are bad. Men can never become women. Police are not criminals, and criminals are not victims.
The speech came after a change at the White House, where Fox's Jared Halpern reports.
Mike Waltz is out as national security advisor, but is being nominated by President Trump to serve as ambassador at the UN. The move follows weeks of pressure on Waltz to step down, following revelations his office accidentally added a journalist to a private text chain about sensitive military operations against the Houthis in Yemen.
The president's going to the Supreme Court, trying to deport more Venezuelans here illegally after a federal judge kept in place a temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan nationals. There's been another ruling against the Trump administration.
U.S. District Court Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr., a President Trump appointee, rules the 18th century Wartime Alien Enemies Act cannot be used against people who the Trump administration claims are gang members invading the U.S., that the president is misusing the law.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. That act was used in March to deport hundreds of alleged gang members sent to El Salvador. Today, President Trump will send his budget proposal to Congress, where Republicans are already working on a big bill to fund the Trump agenda.
Per the Wall Street Journal, the president wants to make deep cuts in foreign aid, renewable energy, and education. The president is aiming to cut non-defense discretionary spending by more than $160 billion, lower than the $1 trillion Elon Musk had promised to slash.
Fox's Madeline Rivera referencing Musk's work at Doge. Democrats claim the Republican budget plan will make cuts to key programs. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. The brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Days after the federal raid on an underground nightclub in Colorado Springs that led to the arrest of more than 100 illegal immigrants. An update on someone else who was also there and is also in trouble.
Army Staff Sergeant Juan Gabriel Arona Rodriguez charged with 1 count each of distribution and possession with intent to distribute cocaine, along with conspiracy to distribute. Federal prosecutors allege the 28-year-old sold cocaine to an undercover Drug Enforcement Administration agent, noting a search of his phone later revealed months of suspected cocaine trafficking. According to a complaint, Arona Rodriguez was one of 17 active duty service members present during a federal raid of an after-hours unlawful nightclub in Colorado Springs over the weekend. Officials also say he appears to hold a leadership role in a business called Immortal Security LLC, which provides security at nightclubs and is believed to be involved in drug distribution. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The day after a report showed an increase in first-time unemployment claims last week, we get a full report about last month.
Economists expect that 130,000 jobs were added during the month, less than March's 228,000 gain. The unemployment rate is forecast to hold steady and remain at 4.2% for a second month.
That's Fox's Hillary Barsky. The report next hour could be a stock market mover. For now, futures are rising on top of the gains to start May. The Dow rose 83 points. The Nasdaq went up 264. In the NBA playoffs, the New York Knicks advance dramatically.
Brunson takes a peek at the clock. Thompson digging in defensively. 8 seconds. Brunson stops on a dime. Launches. Oh, yeah!
Jalen Brunson's three-pointer in the final seconds won it for the Knicks on TNT, 116-113, beating and eliminating the Detroit Pistons to move on to the second round. The LA Clippers stayed alive with a 111-105 win over Denver to force a Game 7. In the NHL playoffs, Edmonton, Toronto, and Vegas all won to advance. Dallas and Colorado will now have to play a Game 7. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. Currently 57 degrees and cloudy outside. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. A Little Falls woman faces felony welfare fraud charges. According to the Herkimer County Sheriff's Office, 27-year-old Fanya Halam is accused of taking over $3,500 in benefits she wasn't entitled to over a 12-month period. She was arrested and charged with grand larceny, welfare fraud, and offering a false instrument for filing, all of which are felonies. Halam was arraigned and released on her own recognizance. She is due back at Little Falls City Court at a later date. An Onondaga County grand jury has decided no charges are going to be filed in connection with a road rage incident. Last week, 61-year-old Azelle Hicks approached a vehicle at the intersection of Southwest Street and West Fayette Street in Syracuse while armed with a knife. The person he threatened shot and killed Hicks, and the grand jury ruled the individual acted in self-defense. That person's name won't be released due to threats made against him. Oneida County is no longer contracted with CNY SPCA. Executive Anthony Pacenti was notified of the contract termination in a letter from Board President Monica Williams, and the contract ended on April 30th. Reasons for the termination include the retirement of 2 cruelty officers last year and a struggle to maintain staffing levels, which has drained their resources. Going forward, the CNY SPCA will only serve Onondaga County. Local police will handle animal cruelty cases. Pacenti said he is looking into alternatives by speaking with animal shelters to ensure that larger animals in the county's care will have a place to go. And the Oneida County Sheriff's Office is asking the public to help them find their most wanted person of the week. Authorities are searching for 35-year-old Nicole Bornschein, who is wanted on a charge of burglary in the 3rd degree and for violating the terms of drug court. She is now wanted on a bench warrant. Bornschein is described as a 5'2" white female who is approximately 130 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. Her last known address is in Oneida. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477. Currently, your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your full weather forecast.
All right, wrapping up the week with a little damp weather. Could be some damp streets left over this morning, a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm through about midday, but I think into the afternoon we'll get at least a little bit of sunshine with the passing shower, thunder showers, 75. Showers, thunder showers back tonight, scattered around 52. A few showers around tomorrow with a high of 60. And Sunday, more showers likely, 62. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently 57 degrees and cloudy. Now let's take a look at sports. The NBA postseason rolls on. The Knicks locked up their spot in the Eastern Conference semifinals with a 116-113 victory over the Pistons in Game 6. Elsewhere, the Clippers forced a Game 7 with an 111-105 takedown of the Nuggets. The action continues today when the Warriors play host to the Rockets. A win by Golden State would send them to the second round. The Maple Leafs, Golden Knights, and Oilers booked their trips to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Toronto took out Ottawa, Vegas eliminated Minnesota, and Edmonton ousted LA in 6 games. The Leafs will face the Panthers, and the Golden Knights will battle the Oilers in round 2. Elsewhere, the Avalanche managed to force a Game 7 after earning a victory over the Stars. The Blues will be looking to force a winner-take-all game when they host the Jets for Game 6 on Friday. The Rangers appear to have their sights set on their next head coach. According to ESPN, the Blue Shirts are in advanced contract talks to make former Penguins coach Mike Sullivan their next head coach. Sullivan was let go by Pittsburgh after 10 seasons and 2 Stanley Cup championships with the team. The Mets have dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Diamondbacks 4-2 in their series finale. Juan Soto provided all of the Mets' offense after slugging a couple solo home runs. New York still leads the NL East. They visit the Cardinals for a 3-game set beginning tonight. The Yankees, they're going to be without Giancarlo Stanton for longer than expected. The Pinstripes moved the designated hitter to the 60-day injured list and claims Braves outfield Brian De La Cruz off waivers on Thursday. Stanton has been dealing with tendinitis in both elbows all season. New York is leading the AL East. They host the Rays for a 3-game series starting tonight. A baseball fan remains in critical condition, reportedly fighting for his life after falling from the outfield wall at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. It happened in the 7th inning of Wednesday's game between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cubs. The man fell over 20 feet, landing in the right outfield. He was taken off the field in a stretcher. In a statement, the Pirates said their thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Pittsburgh Public Safety said the incident is being treated as an accident. And Scotty Scheffler is sitting atop the leaderboard of the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. After the opening round, Scheffler shot a 10 under 61 and leads the tournament by 2 strokes. Rico Hoey and Jonathan Vegas are tied for second at 8 under par. Several others are tied for fourth at 7 under. Eric Cole, Alex Smalley, and Henrik Norlander will be among the first group of players teeing off the second round at TPC Craig Ranch. Your WIBX News Time is 7:10, currently 57 and cloudy outside. I'm Megan Stone.
Now through May 31st, get up to $140 back by mail on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $70 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or bridgestonerewards.com for details.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity's stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Stop putting off registering for the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race because it's almost sold out. People are sprinting to Boilermaker.com to grab their racing bibs before they're gone. Reserve your spot at the starting line now and punch your ticket to the world's best post-race party, where there will be live music, drinks, food, and plenty of surprises. This year's Boilermaker will be bigger and better than ever, but the window to sign up is closing. So run, don't walk, to Boilermaker.com and sign up for one of America's most famous races. See you at the starting line, July 13th.
WIBX. WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Then you know you're in trouble. Well, good morning. It's May 2nd, and I didn't realize May 1st was a day of protesting, but there were a lot of marches and labor stuff and all of that yesterday, and some protests. And Oneida Square had a protest, and there was a parade here, a parade there. I had no idea that was coming yesterday.
I guess I just hadn't noticed.
They didn't do one in Newport?
No, they didn't.
But, you know, I got to say, Newport is and Mike, I'm going to get right to you, but Newport is a really cool little town.
It is. It really is.
And there's still a little piece of the old Main Street that the old main drag, if you will, that still exists there.
Yeah. And I told the story at this.
For those who don't know, by the way, it's over. It would be Route 28, right?
Yeah,
it goes through
about 13, 14 miles north of Utica.
Yeah.
And the same for Herkimer.
Between
Middleville and
Middleville, over by Herkimer Diamonds in that area. So
some interesting story. But I told this story the other day at this conference I was at, and I had an old school buddy stop by after I got elected mayor, and so he says, "I understand you're the mayor of Newport now." And I go, "Yeah." He said, "Well," he hadn't been to Newport, back in Newport for years. He said, "I took a ride through town, and I got to tell you, things are looking kind of shabby." So
what do you say to that?
I let it go. But you know what? A couple days later, I went down, sat on a bench on the main intersection, and looked around. There's weeds growing around the foundations of these older buildings.
Yep.
There's traffic signs tipped at an angle, garbage here.
The little things you don't see when you go by it every day.
And it's human nature.
Yeah.
I've walked by it my whole life and never noticed it. I see it, but I don't notice it. So.
It does take that person who's been away and then they come back. And like, oh, my God, what happened?
It forced me to look at things with new eyes. But...
boy, that is so not a politician of you. So not like a politician to say something like this. Like you realized he was right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Keep your ears open.
Yeah, that's important.
Yep.
And you're right. When you watch, we do this in our own homes.
Yeah.
So there's something that needs to be repaired. You walk by it, you don't think about it. But when company comes, they're looking right at that.
Not in my case. Mrs. Butler points every flaw out to me and says, "Get on it.
Good.
Get
Fix
on
this. I don't want to be embarrassed, for God's sakes." Mark Butler is the mayor of Newport. He is a former assemblyman in the New York State Assembly. And how about they can't get a budget done?
And not like the old days. Not like the old days.
Not like the old days when you went till August every once in a while.
I know. You planned your summer vacation around it.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting here, though, is they have a majority in the Senate and in the Assembly, and we still can't get a budget done.
That's right.
So it shows you there is this is a real divide, and you would know it because you lived there and you lived it. But there is that upstate versus downstate divide.
It's true.
Yeah. It's almost where Republicans and Democrats come together upstate to say, even, we can't agree with that. But no longer is the Senate in the Republican hands to be able to say no to some of these crazy things that come out of
in the Assembly. There's roughly around 100 Democrat assemblymen, and we always were around 50, 48, 52. So it's an overwhelming
not much you can do.
Yeah.
Mike and Skyler. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning. I just want to let you know, I did start watching this series. This time of year, I usually don't watch more than one at a time because I watch a lot of baseball games.
What series did you start watching? Which one?
Mobland.
Okay.
Yes.
Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and Tom Hardy's in it. It's on Paramount. I saw the previews for that one during 1923. That's pretty good. Now that's one of those ones that comes on every Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm doing a little catch up. But have you heard of that one?
No, I have not.
Mobland?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I did.
That's good. You watched it?
It was
a
short term. I think there'll be a second season. There are only 3 or 4 sessions.
You know what I love? Episodes. I love the dog food commercial that includes the Sopranos guy in it. Where it's like somebody complains about the dog food in the refrigerator, and all of a sudden
somebody calls. We were at Grandma's.
He's in the trunk. That's a great little Sopranos throwback commercial. All right, Mike. So that's a goodie. Yeah.
The other thing is, I'm still going down the rabbit hole with I'm watching on all the old Saturday Night Live. I jump ahead every 10 years. So the year I'm on right now, I'm watching 2004, 2005. That's the one that had Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, Maya Rudolph. That year.
Yeah.
What I usually do is every day I watch one episode. It's just kind of neat because I never watched them. I never watched any of them. It's 50 years.
It is. It's like why, and it's interesting because a lot of times the humor is different, right? As because of the political scene is different.
Yes.
But it is really fascinating to watch, especially we started watching stuff after watching the documentary where there were things that happened and you go back and you're like, wow, that really did happen. And it's crazy. There have been some things over the years that have just been unbelievable that have come out of Saturday Night Live.
It's funny too because some of the skits and stuff as I watch them because I've never seen them before, so some are really funny. Laughing so hard my stomach hurts. Okay, it's because they've never seen them and just seeing the changes. But that's why I'm doing that. And movies wise, Amateur, I want to see that. Have you heard anything about the Amateur? Because I know that one just came out. I think it's at the cinema still.
I don't think I have. Maybe I have.
Rami Malek, that looks good. And I want to see The Accountant 2. I never seen The Accountant 1. That's on, the first one is I'm going to watch this so we can watch the second one, but that's the movies I want to go see.
So, and listen, we sat down and there was Willie last week, and may have been last week, I can't remember the name of it, but it was, it's the show that is, it's a movie, and it's about the woman who's a robot. And she's a robot for a companionship. And you can adjust her settings on your iPhone. So she can be more lovey-dovey. She could speak another language. You just click it on the iPhone. And I thought that might have been one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was terrible. We stuck through the whole thing, but it was...
I like the concept.
It's interesting concept. Yeah, very interesting concept. All right, Michael.
But tonight,
yes.
But tonight, the Tampa series starts with New York, so we'll both start watching that.
Okay, no movies tonight. It's all Yankees tonight. So
that's right.
All right,
well,
all right, Michael.
You know if I see those other ones. Yep.
You have a great day. Thank you. And
you too.
By the way, this weekend is the Kentucky Derby. Do you do anything? You got to get up tight to that microphone. I know you're. You're starting to get comfortable in here.
Yeah, these are nice chairs.
They're very nice. Yeah, very, very nice. Very expensive chairs. Do you do the? There are a lot in this area. There are a lot of Kentucky Derby parties.
Yeah, I'm not a big gambler, but we generally get together with some friends and watch it. So
it is. I agree. It's worth. It is definitely worth watching, and it's there. We have Scott in Kirkville that's coming on next hour. We'll get to him to get a little feel for maybe what's best for the weekend when it comes to maybe a little small bet. But I have some favorites and some long shots that I'll give you coming up in a few minutes that I think are worth maybe taking a look at. That, of course, is tomorrow. Also happening on Sunday, I'm not I like Star Wars, but I'm not in love with it. To the point where I'm a super fan. However, the 4th of May the 4th be with you, is Sunday, which is known as Star Wars Day. They're releasing actually some new merch for this because, boy, now that Disney owns it, everything's it's all out there. Anyway, they have some Star Wars. I have a little audio. Let's see what they get.
Get ready for May the 4th.
Okay, this is one of their stupid things. I'm not going to play it. It's National Brother and Sister Day today also, by the way. So if you have a brother and or a sister, you should reach out and keep connected. A woman posted a video claiming she went to a massage place and didn't realize it was one of those massage places.
Ooh.
Which, believe it or not, do exist. Here she is talking about it.
I accidentally had a massage at a brothel. I went and just had a massage the other week after the gym. My neck was sore. Well, since then I found out that it is a full service. There were flags and they were red and waving. And when it was halfway through, a guy walked in and he was like, oh no, I'm going to wait for that other person. And I was like, yeah, whatever. She's actually giving me a great massage. But then she didn't change the towel or the face thing or anything when I left. She was just like, out, next. They were probably so confused as to what was there, saying, I've got a sore neck.
And some of those were actually existing right here in the area, right? There was a couple of those that got nailed a couple of years ago, if you recall, Davey. Real truth. All right, Megan does an update coming up in a second. Stand by. This morning's free money question of the day today, Davey, is worth how much money?
$250.
$250 on the line. We'll do that coming up from the Hobica Law Firm. And then in studio, and our Republican friend, Mark Butler, conservative Mark Butler, former member of the Assembly, Mark Butler, has said that you will be very well behaved. But I'm sure
I promised at the beginning, but I do.
But it's not every day you get to sit with your congressman, and this is
that's right.
Although technically Newport, Elise Stefanik.
Elise.
Yeah, yes. I think that's what you have. All right, stand by. We'll come right back at WIBX.
Jake Cannell with Blues here, the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever.
It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY Onstage Live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/radio, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Let me tell you about the Good Feet store, and I was right there yesterday, in fact. I just want to tell you what my package is. So you're having difficulties with sciatica, leg pain, knee pain, hip pain. It may be coming from your shoes, the way you walk, and you may have been trained, and some people it's really severe. You can see the way they walk is incorrect. But you may be walking incorrectly and developed habits that can be changed, and it will eliminate the pain that you have in many, many cases. It's all about arch support, and they are the arch support specialists at the Good Feet store. So here's what I walked away with yesterday, and I'm starting my campaign to get rid of pain, Mark Butler. So you can use them in your own shoes. You take out the insoles, you put in another insole, and then there is an insert that you put in. Mm-hmm. There are 3 different levels of the insert. There's the strengthener, the maintainer, and the relaxer. And so you're familiar with this.
I did go to the Good Feet store and went through the program. Yes,
and I'm so glad I'm talking to you. Know more about it than I do.
Well, I'm learning more, but okay. I honestly think it helped me.
It does help.
Yeah,
and it's really fascinating when they do a little thing with you, and I won't tell what it is, but when you're pushed
fall over, yeah,
and yet when you put on these different shoes and you change the way you're positioned on your on the heels or your arch or whatever. You have better balance.
Yeah.
That, and one of the biggest problems as people get older, and your age, ancient.
Hey, thank you.
Is the fall.
Right.
And it can be just devastating. One thing to note: this is not a shoe store. However, they do sell shoes. I came out with a new pair of sneakers, and in go the inserts. So for me, I'm wearing the strengthener for a half an hour. Then I change out and slip them right in the maintainer for I believe 1 hour in the beginning, and then you keep going up every day.
Yes.
And then after you wear that, you put in what they call the relaxer. And that just basically keeps everything in place so that you're not doing too much. They don't want you to gain pain.
Right.
You're ultimately going to eliminate it.
Yeah.
So you went through the whole program.
I did. And one of the main things it's done for me, I'm more conscious of how I walk, the steps I take.
Yeah.
Because I was shuffling. And that's when you trip some little thing in the sidewalk or on the stairs and you stumble over it and boom, you're down. So it's made me more conscious of how I walk and how I put my steps together.
Huge and every bit worth it if you can, because ultimately what you don't want to do is find yourself in the midst of a fall.
Right.
But, it could be somebody who's my age who just wants the pain to go away. All of this I truly believe in, and it's at the Good Feet store. Call them today at 315-999-3910 or visit them on Commercial Drive in New Hartford. You don't necessarily need an appointment, but you can call ahead in advance. The Good Feet store in New Hartford. Also, the Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle, a tremendous value at Steet Pawnee Mazda. While they focus on creating the ultimate customer experience at Steet, they do their best with late model Mazdas for the Mazda certified pre-owned vehicles. They have a ton of them on the lot, and they offer a 160-point inspection, balance of the 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And if you need a lower price or a payment, Rick always says, let's make your deal on a Mazda certified pre-owned vehicle. From the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, it's Steet Pawnee Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Coming up, Hobica's free money question of the day. I'll give you the picks that I have for the Kentucky Derby. These are, I think,
can hardly wait.
These are pretty good, I believe. And there's some long shot picks in there as well that might be worth taking a look at. Also, Scott and Kirkville will be coming up. John? Yes.
Is one of them Toby Keith's horse?
What is I don't know enough about horse racing. So what's the name of Toby Keith's horse?
He's running in the 15th position.
All right, I guess I can do this now if you want.
His name is Render Judgment. Render Judgment is Toby Keith's
Not
horse.
on my list. I'm going to tell you the what they say are the picks. This who are
Probably
they?
journalism.
Journalism is 3-1. Sovereignty is 5-1, and Sandman is 6-1. As for long shots, if you really like a good long shot,
Chunk of Gold.
That's not on my list, but Final Gambit, Luxor Cafe, Grande, and Cold Battle, they say, are great picks for long shots. And by the way, Cold Battle is 30-1, Grande is 20-1, Luxor Cafe 15-1, and Final Gambit is 30-1. You're asking, who are they? I don't know. They just wrote it for me and sent it to me, and that's I'm repeating their picks. So maybe that's what she is. All right, quick news. $250 on the line with Hobica's free money question of the day coming up on WIBX.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone. The boys lacrosse coach at West Hill High School is addressing hazing that was carried out by 11 of his players. Aaron Cahill put out a statement saying his heart breaks for the victims and families of the young players who were taken by older players into a wooded area last week. Other students came out of the woods with what appeared to be a gun and a knife, and one of the younger players ended up being tied up and put in a trunk. The 11 players turned themselves in, and the team's season has been canceled. Herkimer County Legislature Chairman Robert Hullum has resigned. He said in a letter released yesterday that he will be stepping down from his position immediately, saying it is best for the county and its residents. He will still serve on the legislature, but not as chairman. Vice President Peter Campione will serve as the interim chairman of the Herkimer County Legislature. Hullum has been arrested 3 times since last May and is currently being held at Oneida County Jail without bail. He was first arrested on drug and open container charges on May 19th of last year. Then again on September 11th for storing a weapon unsafely. He was arrested a 3rd time for violating the terms of his probation. Around 80 veterans from Central New York will fly to Washington, D.C. tomorrow for an honor flight. Twice a year, Honor Flight Syracuse takes veterans to the nation's capital for a day of celebration and reflection. Tomorrow, the veterans will visit memorials around D.C. and connect with their fellow brothers and sisters in arms. Since launching in 2012, Honor Flight Syracuse has gone on roughly 20 missions and transported over 1,000 local veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and more to the capital. Volunteers are needed to help give the veterans a hero's welcome when they return to Syracuse Airport 6 p.m. tomorrow, May 3rd. Flags and handmade signs are encouraged. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. The largest pop culture event in upstate New York is happening in the Spa City this weekend. Saratoga Comic-Con starts tomorrow and runs through Sunday at the Saratoga Springs City Center on Broadway. There will be cosplay competitions, celebrity meet and greets, video games, panel discussions, and much more. To purchase tickets and find out more details, head to SaratogaComicCon.com. Today in history, in 2011, al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, who'd been killed hours earlier in a raid by American forces at his Pakistan compound, was buried at sea. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, wrapping up the week with a little damp weather. Could be some damp streets left over this morning, a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm through about midday, but I think into the afternoon we'll get at least a little bit of sunshine with the passing shower, thunder showers, 75. Showers, thunder showers back tonight, scattered around 52. A few showers around tomorrow with a high of 60. And Sunday, more showers likely, 62. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, cloudy skies and a little bit of peak of sunshine out there, and we'll get a little of that, as Ray says, through the day today. And then the rain comes, and it seems like it's going to be with us for a while. Currently, we're at 58 degrees at WIBX. Mike this morning says on that story out of West Hill, that lacrosse story, which is terrible. Mike says the next thing coming out of that story is going to be the lawsuits, and you know that's probably coming. Yep. All right, let's do Habaika's free money question of the day. We're looking for caller number what, Davey, this morning?
Caller 4.
Fourth caller, your chance to win from Habaika on WIBX. It's worth $250. Caller 4 right now, 315-736-0186 right now.
Now through May 31st, get up to $160 back by mail on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get up to an additional $80 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or firestonerewards.com for details.
The Memorial Day sale is on at Mattress Express. No one in New York State has all the brands we have. Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish. And now we have added Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta, and Avocado. Hurry.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors. Looking for a perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th, featuring the jazz sounds of the Dubtones. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait. This event is too big to miss. Sponsored by The Potting Shed Antiques, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, Clinton Tractor and Implement Company, and James Mitsubishi.
When it comes to the ones we love, their comfort and dignity matter most. That is why hospice and palliative care is here for you. When you want your loved ones' wishes to be honored, when you want them to be comfortable, safe, and secure, and when you want them to be wherever they call home, hospice and palliative care is the right choice. Our team of professional doctors, nurses, social workers, and bereavement counselors are dedicated to providing compassionate care every step of the way. At hospice, your loved one is not alone, and neither are you. We are just a a phone call away, ready to support you through this journey. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison County for the comfort and dignity your loved ones deserve. For more information, visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call us today at 315-735-6484. Hospice and Palliative Care, Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison counties.
When you need us most.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay, Davey, good morning. Good morning. In studio right now is Mark Butler, the mayor of Newport.
That's right.
I say to people, when you think of Newport, if you're wondering, just think of Newport, Rhode Island. And actually, you have in Newport, there's a really great golf course, right?
Great golf course.
And highly acclaimed.
Yes.
And we can talk about some of that stuff coming up in a second.
Well, that's because we're a sophisticated community.
Very sophisticated.
Yes.
They wear their sweaters on their back.
Yeah, that's right.
Tie a nice little knot around the neck. Here's Charles in Utica, ready to play Hobica's free money question of the day. Charles, good morning.
Morning.
How you doing, Charles?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right. You know the deal. We're going to throw at you a simple question. It's always simple.
Oh, it is.
Easy. And then you come up with the answer. They have 7 seconds to get the answer in. If you get it in within 7 seconds, bingo. On the line today is $250. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here's your question. She liked kissing a girl. Now she's gone. Who are we talking about? Ready, go.
Oh.
She just died yesterday in a house fire. It's in the news. This is why I thought, man, we talked about it a little while ago, which is why I thought you might have known, because I got to tell you, if she were alive today and I asked you the question, there's no way in hell anybody would ever remember what her name was. Yeah. She was the lead singer, and I Kissed a Girl and I Like It. It was a big LGBTQ song. I didn't know that, but I guess it makes sense. It had guys all over the world saying, oh, I can identify with that.
Yes.
Right? Jill Sobule, Sobule, and it was a huge hit, and believe it or not, she died in a house fire yesterday or a couple days ago. All right, well, listen, what are you going to do? We're going to give you the $25 food and fun card. It's good at Aquavino, at Babe's, Taylor and the Cook, and even in the gift shop at the Adirondack Bank Center, concession stands, wherever. Davey's going to take care of you, okay, Charles?
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
You do the same. Enjoy the weekend. And, Davey, he is all yours. You remember that song. That was a big song, even for people that don't necessarily listen to it.
I had it on my list.
On your list, on your playlist, yeah. All right, I'm told we are waiting on the congressman.
All right.
So while we do that, nice and tight on that microphone.
Okay.
Don't get too comfortable on me. Mark Butler is with us. Mark is a former assemblyman in the New York State Assembly. I'm sure glad you're not there right now.
So am I.
Yes, I figured. And so what do you have for me?
Well, I got to tell you,
you never come empty-handed.
Well, I know. I want to entertain you and your audience.
Yes, all right.
So I see our guests are here. I'll do this quickly. All right. Well, Newport is a rural area, not sophisticated, and you did the advertisement for Mazda, and being from a poor country boy, I couldn't afford a high-end Mazda. I have a friend who owns a little gas station down on the corner, and he had a Chevy Equinox for sale. So I bought it, and I came home, and I'm fiddling around on the radio, and I discover it only plays country and western songs and NPR. I said, I wonder who had this car before, because they got issues.
Well, I find that to be a real oxymoron.
I know.
Right?
That
doesn't make sense to me. There's smoke coming out of my head. So.
It struck me as well.
I had somebody just the other day say to me, "Can you do me a favor? Come out to my car and program it so that I can actually listen." Today, it's the old days of having a radio used to be so wonderful because you had the tuner or even the push button. If you remember the old push buttons today. It is very complicated.
I can't even listen to Jimmy Fallon in the afternoon.
We need to fix your radio. All right, making his way in studio. And if you can come a little more this way, I get you on camera. And yes, you. Yeah. He won't bite, although he is a conservative. Just beware.
We're good. Country music should bring everybody together.
That's right.
Well, before we get started, the reason I'm here is you don't have any extra grant money lying around in a drawer for a little village like Newport, do
wow.
you?
Well,
You're a little over the border.
I heard a little over the border, and as you know, that can be very important when it comes to grants. I'm brand new in Congress, so I heard you as I was coming down on the New York State budget, which you're very familiar with, and it is. I heard your comment about summer because it could impact your summer. I talked to some of my colleagues who were back in the Assembly the Senate a while ago. Listen, we want to help Central New York. I'd love to be able to help you, but I think that might be a tough advocacy. I'll have to work with Representative Stefanik and figure out if we got some joint ventures that may be good regional priorities.
Yes,
what we like to call that.
Give her a call. I mean, it's for the Mohawk Valley. I mean, we want to make it better.
One thing
that to work with her.
One thing that is good is that there are farmers in Newport, and we're going to need them all, as many as we can get.
Yep.
This announcement was incredible last week.
It was, absolutely. But I'm going to go back to that, though. So seriously, Mayor, and whatever hat you want me to call you here, the community-funded projects for the House are open, right? So this is the time to engage with your representative's office. And for my side, I say side, but from my side of the border, we have, received requests for major project funding, and we want to make the area better, whether it's public safety or wastewater or clean water. But the Chobani announcement is fantastic, and of course, I'm so proud as a Central New Yorker to have been there at that event. And, a lot of other people had a lot more to do with it than I did, but it is programs like we had in the state legislature, like Fast New York, that is designed to make sure, I think we would all agree, we have things that make us a more challenging business climate in New York State. And we got to get through that. So it is programs like that are helpful. But it's great for our dairy farmers, certainly great for our workforce, great for the area. And, I remember when Griffiths closed and we were losing a lot of jobs down at the west end of the district around the same time. This is why it's just great to see and experience, and people are super excited about it, and they should be.
It was good to see. I mean, obviously, County Executive Pacini played a major role, and he seemed to bond with the owner of Chobani, and in fact, Handy called him his brother, and I don't think he just throws that around. So that was, but at the same time, it seemed like everyone take your party hat off. Right up to the governor, and the governor played a role in this as well.
True.
So it was good to see everybody working together for a big common positive.
I think that's Central New York and the Mohawk Valley. We've got representatives on both sides of the aisle. My experience in the western end of NY22 is exactly that, and a lot is talked about Micron, but you look at who played a role, and it went to the president, U.S. senators, the governor, the county executive, and our economic development team, and the Onondaga County Legislature, Town of Clay, the supervisor. The people I mentioned there are Republicans and Democrats, right?
Yeah.
Because when it at the end of the day, we care about where we live, and we want it to be better. And the people of this area also, they expect us to work together.
Right.
And I do feel like, you look at former representatives Hanna and Bollert, Arcuri, the people that hang around are usually the ones that are working with everybody, and that's my experience in my county. So.
Are you worried about the? Is the Micron funding secure and safe at this point?
We continuously check in there. So we not only check in with Micron, of course, we check in with the Commerce Department, and we check in with our economic development folks and the governor's office. And the good news is the contract is signed. There's lots of other good news there, which is from a national security standpoint, we really need to make these semiconductor chips in this country.
Right.
And we're going to need 400% more memory chips. So what they're going to make at Micron are these memory chips, within the next 25 years. So we got to do it. And I do, we can always get into political back and forth with this administration. But the bottom line is, even though, when the president says on the floor of the House of Representatives, like, we got to get rid of this, obviously that's concerning. Yeah. But when we check in, I think, the people around him and certainly in the Commerce Department understand the importance of this.
Yeah.
So
especially
my confidence is still very, very high.
Especially right now when what the president his goal is, what we're going through with all of these tariffs, the goal is to bring manufacturing back, and this high-tech manufacturing, and then this latest deal with Ukraine. So I think it really shows, it just shines the light on this Micron project as being, no matter who came up with it, no matter which administration at this point, this is good for America.
That's right. And the CHIPS and Science funding is, I think we all wish we wouldn't talk about blue states and red states, because we have an example right here. New York in the presidential election leans blue, but upstate New York, we're down the middle, and sometimes a little bluer and a little redder than other places.
Yeah.
But those other states, I'm gonna call them red states, right? Which is a line I don't like to use, because like Ohio has a major Intel plant that's in production right now that's benefiting from CHIPS and Science. Ohio's still pretty down the middle.
Yeah.
And my point is, like, that funding is good for the whole country from a national security standpoint, but from an economic development standpoint, it's good for multiple states, not just New York. So,
were you going to?
Yeah, Congressman, I don't mean to cut into your time, but I was at a brownfield conference over the last couple of days, and we had a national economic analyst talk, and the whole thing we had private developers, we had government people, we had about 250 people there. And the thing that struck me was the optimism that they have for the Mohawk Valley. I've been to several of these over the past years, and oh boy, here we go again. But there was really a positive message, and I think we're on the doorstep of something good here in the Mohawk
I feel
Valley.
great, because we've all watched it. I watched it not in an official elected role, and somebody who had to worry about their budgets and their tax base and all of that. But I have one meeting after another of how great things are, what a great direction we're moving in. And it is because of, I think, who we are and how we positioned ourselves. We got great public schools, and we got great higher ed institutions, and we care about each other, and we have a history of technology here. So, we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
And the challenges might come with workforce or raw materials or pre-produced materials. And that's why, we just don't want to, we're on the right path, I think. And we got good people in place making it happen, too.
I really believe that the Micron up and running is going to be extremely important for for Marcy, because right now Wolfspeed is struggling on a global level, and their stock prices are down, and it's not able to. There is I think there was an initial thought that electric cars were going to be taking off, and now that demand for those batteries is not there as we thought it was going to be. But Micron, we can play a major role in this, and you're going to need a lot of employees. This is a region, just very much like Chobani. This is a regional company.
Absolutely. The whole I-90 corridor is such a tech corridor. I mean, we're like a technology hub, honestly, global technology hub. So whether I speak with, you almost don't want to rattle off names, but we got a lot of people in the tech space at the West End. And when I spoke with Wolf Speed and when I spoke with program, leaders at SUNY Poly and Mohawk Valley Edge, it's all about workforce, and within that workforce, they're really highly skilled professionals, not just the advanced manufacturing piece, but we need those engineers.
And
too.
a lot of these people are going to have to come, I would assume. Certainly programs that MVCC and other colleges throughout the area play a big role in preparing a workforce. But at the end of the day, some people are going to have to move here.
Absolutely.
Housing becomes a big issue.
We need housing.
Yeah.
We do. And I'm on ag, which I'm really thrilled to be on. I asked to be on it in the New York State Senate. I wasn't on the first 2 years. I was on my last 2 years, but I asked to be on, as you can imagine, just because what I heard you talking about when I came down, which is like, you want people, I'm laughing, but you want people who have a significant amount of agriculture in your district and people I can talk to. I can pick up the phone and call a dairy farmer, an onion farmer, whatever, and say, like, what do you think of this bill? And they'll let me know. And I broke from my party multiple times and advocated in the Ag Committee for that. But I mention it because rural development, which is not what we might think about as an agriculture committee, but in the housing space, there's a lot of that in that committee in the House. So that's something as we approach this farm bill and the reconciliation bill, we're going to advocate for.
One of the other things, speaking with Congressman John Manion, one of the other things when it comes to agriculture is workforce as well. And it just so happens the two, immigration and the need for workforce, collide when it comes to agriculture.
I'm guessing the assemblyman here was probably in when Green Light New York passed. Do you know? Are you familiar with that?
I don't know.
Might have been right near the end.
Yeah.
But this is a controversial piece of legislation that passed. I'm not going to talk about the voting piece because we don't have, our voting systems work very well.
Yeah.
But sometimes they tie this to it's tied to each other, which is driver's licenses for undocumented people, right? So you say that and you're like, that sounds very controversial, but you go talk to the farmers and they're like, and they may be very conservative on a number of issues, but on this issue, they were like, we do need that. So we've created a system in this country, not necessarily intentionally, but over time, where we are dependent upon migrant workers, and some of them are undocumented, some are underdocumented, some overstay their visa, right? For me, we need to be a country of laws. We need to follow those. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that we've kind of created this scenario in multiple sectors, in construction and agriculture, where there's people here that are undocumented, and by and large, they're not doing what hits the headlines. They're just here to work.
And farmers,
we got to get it right.
The message for farmers to New York State representatives and to federal representatives is fix this. I mean, that's all they want. They want it fixed so that it works and they can continue to plow forward.
Listen,
no pun intended.
I agree because long before I was in this game, I read about it because you care. And of course, my grandfather came here, right, and came from a dairy farm actually, and worked on the New York State Railroad for 42 years. But we have a broken immigration system. There was a circumventing of these asylum seeker rules. That's got to be addressed, and then we were inundated with these challenges as a result from it. But we got to get it right because we do need the employees. And when I talk to, and I'm not going to list them, but manufacturers here in the area in Oneida County, many of them are hiring new Americans. Right. And we know that they fill a key part of that. So let's get it right. It's going to take a lot of political will. It's going to be unpopular probably on both sides. We're both going to have to swallow a pill that we don't like within a comprehensive immigration bill. Yeah.
All right. We're speaking with Congressman John Manion, who is in studio. Do you have a little time on the other side of the news break?
I think we do. Yeah.
People may have some questions. I know Mr. Butler does.
Sure.
Let's work through them, right?
How many passives do I get from the Assemblyman? No, I'm joking.
That's a good question. All right. Stand by. We'll come back with Congressman John Manion in just a second. News is next on WIBX.
Hey, it's Polly from Big Frog 104 with the perfect solution for your manufactured or mobile home problems. John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. If you've had issues with your furnace, now is the time to think about replacing it. Don't wait until next winter. Your skirting around the home could have taken a little beating. John has skirting too. With energy costs continuing to rise and no relief in sight, you need to make sure your mobile or manufactured home is energy efficient. John has new doors and windows in stock as well. Find it all at John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories.com.
Jake Cannell with Blues here of the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever.
It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY Onstage Live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity's stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
The Trump budget plan. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It'll be delivered today to Congress, where Republicans are already working on what President Trump calls one big, beautiful bill to fund his agenda.
Well, I think we'll get really close to the end. Our number one goal is make sure no tax increases at a very challenging time.
That's GOP Congressman Mark Herodopoulos. The Trump budget aims to cut $160 billion in non-defense spending. And as for Democrats' claims that Republicans are going to cut key programs like Medicaid.
What we're not going to do is allow illegal aliens to get Medicaid. We're not going to allow people who are able-bodied to go in and be on the welfare system. We need to make sure also people who are truly qualified are on there. A lot of people game the system.
Now, President Trump just posted on Truth Social that he's going to take away Harvard's tax-exempt status, writing, "It's what they deserve." After the university filed a lawsuit trying to block the president cutting off Harvard's federal funding, the president accused the university of allowing rampant anti-Semitism on campus after anti-Israel Gaza war protests. Last night, President Trump addressed graduates at the University of Alabama.
It is clear to see the next chapter of the American story will not be written by the Harvard Crimson. It will be written by you, the Crimson Tide.
Now, the president signed another executive order that takes away federal funding from something else. Public broadcasting, PBS TV and National Public Radio, accusing them of using taxpayer money to spread radical woke propaganda disguised as news. Mike Waltz is out as national security advisor, but Vice President Vance tells Fox it's not a firing.
He is being made ambassador to the United Nations, which, of course, is a Senate-confirmed position. I think he can make a good argument that it's a promotion.
Waltz got a lot of scrutiny for inadvertently letting a journalist join a Signal group chat discussing U.S. military action in Yemen. A singer-songwriter has died.
I kissed the girl.
That's the song Jill Sabule is best known for from 30 years ago. Yesterday, Sabule was killed in a house fire in Woodbury, Minnesota. She was 66. America's listening to Fox News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. For $35 a month, you get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Legal battles keep playing out over deportations. A federal judge has ruled that the Alien Enemies Act from the 1700s can no longer be used to remove illegal immigrants. The judge saying the president is misusing that law, claiming illegal border crossings were an invasion. That act was used in March to deport hundreds of alleged gang members sent to El Salvador. Another ruling is being taken to the Supreme Court.
A federal judge issued a ruling that kept temporary protected status for the Venezuelans that would have otherwise expired last month. TPS is granted in 18-month increments to people already in the U.S. whose countries are deemed unsafe for return due to natural disaster or civil strife. But the Trump administration's asking the Supreme Court for emergency action to block that judge's order. That could potentially expose 350,000 Venezuelans to deportation. A briefing schedule will likely be set, and then an order may be issued by the High Court. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
We will get the jobs report later this hour. Economists are expecting a slowdown in hiring last month from March, but the unemployment rate might have stayed the same, 4.2%. There could be a reaction to the report on Wall Street, where for now, stock futures are rising nearly 200 points for the Dow after gains to start May. Last-second drama in the NBA playoffs. Jalen Brunson hit a three-pointer to give New York the lead, and then
Detroit didn't get a shot off. The Knicks take care of business. They wrap up the series in Detroit and move on to the second round.
The final call on TNT after the New York Knicks beat the Pistons 116-113. Out west, the LA Clippers beat Denver 111-105 to force a Game 7 in that series. And on the ice, Colorado forced a Game 7 with a win over Dallas. But the three other series ended. Edmonton, Toronto, and Vegas all advanced to the second round. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 61 degrees and mostly cloudy outside. Your full weather forecast and your chance to win $1,000 in Win Keeler's cash. That's coming up next. 2 dogs in Herkimer are dead in what appears to be a case of abandonment by their owners. New York State Police say they were alerted by the Herkimer Humane Society of an animal welfare complaint of dogs left behind at an apartment on State Route 5 in Herkimer. Troopers gained access to the apartment and found 2 dogs dead inside locked crates. Police are determined the apartment had been abandoned and linked it to its owners, 30-year-old Joseph Warney and 44-year-old Emma Trask, both of Utica. Both were charged with 6 various counts of animal neglect and will answer before a judge on May 13th. Herkimer County Legislature Chairman Robert Hollum has resigned. He said in a letter released yesterday that he will be stepping down from his position of chairman immediately, but will still serve in the legislature, saying it is best for the county and its residents. Vice President Peter Campion will serve as the next chairman of the Herkimer County Legislature temporarily. Hollum has been arrested 3 times since last May and is currently being held at Oneida County Jail without bail. He was first arrested on drug and open container charges on May 19th of last year, and then again on September 11th for storing a weapon unsafely. He was arrested once more this week for violating the terms of his probation. Oneida County is no longer contracted with CNY SPCA. Executive Anthony Pacenti said he was notified of the contract termination in a letter from Board President Monica Williams, and the contract ended on April 30th. Reasons for the termination include the retirement of 2 cruelty officers last year and a struggle to maintain staffing levels, which has put a stress on their resources. Going forward, the CNY SPCA will serve only Onondaga County. Local police will handle animal cruelty cases, and Pacenti is looking into alternatives by speaking with animal shelters to ensure that larger animals in the county's care will have a place to go. And around 80 veterans from Central New York will fly to Washington, D.C. tomorrow for an honor flight. Twice a year, Honor Flight Syracuse takes veterans from World War II, Vietnam, Korea, and other wars to the nation's capital for a day of celebration and reflection. Tomorrow, the veterans will visit memorials around D.C. and connect with their fellow brothers and sisters in arms. Since launching in 2012, Honor Flight Syracuse has gone on roughly 20 missions and transported over 1,000 local veterans across central New York, the Mohawk Valley, and northern New York into the capital. Volunteers are needed to help give the veterans a hero's welcome when they return to Syracuse. That is at 6 p.m. Saturday, May 3rd. Flags and handmade signs are encouraged. You could read more about this on WIBX950.com. Your Keeler's cash code for this hour is 270. Now head on over to WIBX950.com and under the trending bar, click on Win Keeler's Cash and enter code 270. It could win you $1,000. Here is your full weather forecast on WIBX.
All right, wrapping up the week with a little damp weather. Could be some damp streets left over this morning, a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm through about midday, but I think into the afternoon we'll get at least a little bit of sunshine with the passing shower, thunder showers, 75. Showers, thunder showers back tonight, scattered around 52. A few showers around tomorrow with a high of 60, and Sunday more showers likely, 62. I'm meteorologist Ray Stagik at the Weather Channel on WIBX, 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
61 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Now let's take a look at sports. The NBA postseason rolls on. The Knicks locked up their spot in the Eastern Conference semifinals with a 116-113 victory over the Pistons in Game 6. Elsewhere, the Clippers forced a Game 7 with a 111-105 takedown of the Nuggets. The action continues Friday when the Warriors play host the Rockets in Game 6. A win by Golden State would send them to the second round. The Maple Leafs, Golden Knights, and Oilers booked their trips to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Toronto took out Ottawa, Vegas eliminated Minnesota, and Edmonton ousted LA in 6 games. The Leafs will face the Panthers, and the Golden Knights will battle the Oilers in round 2. Elsewhere, the Avalanche managed to force a Game 7 after earning a victory over the Stars. The Blues, they're looking to force a winner-take-all game when they host the Jets for Game 6 today. The Rangers appear to have their sights set on their next head coach. According to ESPN, the Blue Shirts are in advanced contract talks to make former Penguins coach Mike Sullivan their next head coach. Sullivan was let go by the Pittsburgh Penguins after 10 seasons and 2 Stanley Cup championships with the team. He replaces Peter Laviolette, who was fired after failing to lead the Rangers to the playoffs for the first time since 2021. The Mets have dropped back-to-back games after falling to the Arizona Diamondbacks 4-2 in their series finale. Juan Soto did provide all the Mets' offense after slugging a couple of solo home runs. New York does lead the NL East with the Yankees. They will visit the Cardinals tonight. The Yankees, they're going to be without Giancarlo Stanton for longer than expected. The Pinstripes moved the designated hitter to the 60-day injured list and claims Braves outfielder Brian De La Cruz will be off waivers on Thursday. Stanton has been dealing with tendonitis in both elbows all season. A baseball fan remains in critical condition, reportedly fighting for his life after falling from the outfield wall at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. It happened in the 7th inning of Wednesday's game between the Pirates and the Cubs. The man fell over 20 feet, landing in the right outfield. He was taken off the field in a stretcher. In a statement, the Pirates said their thoughts and prayers are with him and their family. Pittsburgh's public safety said the incident is being treated as an accident. And Scotty Scheffler is sitting atop the leaderboard of the CJ Cup Byron Nelson after the opening round. Scheffler shot a 10 under 61 and leads the tournament by 2 strokes. Rico Hoey and Johanton Vegas are tied for second at 8 under par. Several others are tied for fourth at 7 under. Eric Cole, Alex Smalley, and Henrik Norlander are among the first group of players teeing off the second round at TPC Craig Ranch. Right now, your WIBX news time is 8:11, and your Keeler's cash code for this hour is 270. Again, you can win $1,000. Go to WIBX950.com and enter code 270 under the Win Cash tab to get yourself in the running to win that prize. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, coming up, more with Congressman John Manion here in studio. I got a bunch of comments that we'll get to, and a few people on the phone line as well. Make sure Davey Scott hangs, because I want to get to the congressman here. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. It is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. And if you're in need of a new doctor, maybe your doctor's retired, or maybe you just want to make a change, Or if you need a second opinion, or you're considering that procedure that's a manipulation, almost like going to a chiropractor, but more involved, and it's about 35 minutes. Everything from your sinuses to your back and your neck, it's all, you walk out of there feeling like $1 million. It's incredible. At the Falcon Clinic. Call them today at 315-507-4751. Congressman John Manion, next with your questions on WIBX.
Mattress Express is proud to announce we have added Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado, the big online brand, to our lineup in all of our stores. Go to mattressexpressny.com or call 1-800-NEW-BED.
Jake Cannell with Blues here of the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever.
It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY On Stage Live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Now through May 31st, get up to $140 back by mail on a Bridgestone prepaid MasterCard. Get $70 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Bridgestone tires. Get an additional $70 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or bridgestonerewards.com for details.
Hey, Central New York, this is Will Kane of The Will Kane Show, and you can now hear my show every weekday at WIBX. I do things a little differently when I'm behind the microphone because I turn it over to the listeners to learn and really dig into the issues that impact everyday Americans. The Will Kane Show lets you keep ahead of the headlines and understand what's really going on in the world with in-depth discussions from leading experts and the brightest minds. From politics to sports, nothing is off topic. Listen to The Will Kane Show weekdays at 6, only on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, it's 8:15 to WIBX, 315-736-0186. If you have a question of the Congressman John Manion, for a few more minutes here in studio, and I'm just going to read off, John, a few that I have here.
Sure.
And some are what they are, right? Ann in Rome, please give me a break. I'm sick of Dems defending illegals. My family came here without breaking laws. How do you answer that?
So listen, we should be coming here legally. It should all be legal immigration, period. So I'm not defending that. What I am saying is we have to look at the reality. If you talk to people in the farming community, they will tell you that, again, they're supposed to be following the rules too, but we cannot dismiss the fact that upwards of 30% of the construction industry workforce in this country are undocumented people. Yeah. So we all hold a little bit of responsibility in that. I'm not defending that. That is the reality in this country, and we've done it to meet the workforce needs of multiple sectors, particularly agriculture, and we all benefit from that labor as well. So I'm not defending it, but if we took every person that was undocumented and removed them from this country, the impact that it would have on our economy would be devastating. And I'm willing to say that not because, I'm here to say we should have open borders, because we don't. That's why I'm a proponent of comprehensive immigration reform. It should be legal entry to this country. We should have courts that work. We should have support our border patrol. We should support them with technology and, yes, physical barriers and all of that. But we're in a spot. We got to get it right.
Yeah.
And that,
which, by the way, is a spot that we created. We
that's
allowed
what I mean.
this to happen over decades.
Yeah. And the workers on the farms they're contributing, but the other illegals that are living in the hotels that are getting social programs, that's also a drain on our resources.
It absolutely is.
That's the other side of the coin.
And that is another side of it that we have to be honest about. Both sides have to be honest about and say, like, this is why we need a system that works. When we were going through the last administration, I have said that we were too slow. That administration was too slow in addressing the problem. Yeah. It needed to be addressed, and that is correct, that it is a drain on our resources. We've got to get it right so that there's legal entry into this country that works, that also meets the needs of this country. We're an aging population, and we wonder sometimes why we have these workforce challenges, and that's a contributing factor.
And both sides are guilty of dragging their feet because there's another election coming up, and you don't want a big victory to happen to the opponents, and it's happened on both sides of the aisle. Because, boy, if they get this immigration victory, it's going to mean a big election for them. And here's Rocky in Utica saying Republican Senator Langford, bipartisan committee created by Mitch McConnell, created the immigration bill that President Trump asked Republicans not to vote for.
Yeah.
And again, it was a big hot button issue in politics.
It wouldn't have done everything, but it would have been a step in the right direction. And honestly, for me, I've already had a career, and I represent a down the middle place that I think I understand pretty well. You've got to be willing to take a political hit and lose.
Yeah.
I know people who represented this area who voted for some things that, again, might be unpopular and maybe even more unpopular to their own side, and they're not around anymore. And I do feel that that's unfortunate, because I think people have the courage, if they have the courage to do the right thing and allow a political ammunition to come at you from the other party, or your own party, you got to be willing to do that, and that's where I think the Assemblyman alluded to. We've kind of fragmented into our corners, and if you break from your party, the party comes at you. That doesn't make for better government. I know that.
Let's see. This is Fred in Clinton. Could you please ask the congressman to explain his no vote on H.R. 28, the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act?
Yeah. So listen, first of all, I was a coach, right? And by and large, I got to go back here a second, right? Because this is a very controversial issue that keeps coming up. I coach girls sports. I coach boys sports. We have organizations here like the Athletic Association for New York, the NCAA, They have rules around this, and they should apply those rules correctly. And what we've seen are situations where they did not apply those rules.
Right.
So it's also, not to get into this too much, but I was a biology teacher. XX, female. XY, male. But there are kids that have this chromosomal transformation, or they're born with other chromosomes. That's a whole other issue. And that's where, I coached girls who were young, and who had short haircuts or of large stature, and you would hear coaches or parents on the other side be like, is that a boy over there? And, their parents had to go through that. So what this legislation was going to do was allowed for anatomy checks on little kids, basically. And I voted against that. We have and have had for decades organizations that are supposed to get this right. I've mentioned, maybe on this show, maybe not, that Algerian female boxer who got really annihilated in the media. She has an X and a Y chromosome. And I say she was born with female anatomy. She's had female anatomy her entire life, but she does have an X and Y chromosome. And as somebody who's a biology teacher, that's a thing that happens pretty commonly. Yeah. But so like those organizations got to get it right. They got to get it right. They've been charged with getting it right. And I think we would all look at some situations recently that they have reversed their decisions, but not after some individuals that were, biologically male at birth have like won competitions, and everybody looks at that and goes, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
It is something that is addressed and has always been addressed.
It has.
Even I wrestled in high school, and I was a junior high wrestling coach. So that's the point where boys are going through puberty, and there's literally a nurse and a doctor that examine the kid to see if he is eligible and mature enough to be able to wrestle varsity. He's a really good wrestler, but he might not be at that medical point evolving in his life, whatever. So this is something that I think New York State Department of Athletics and Section 3 and all of that has been dealing with. And maybe that's where we should have a little trust that they're going to deal with this properly.
We have, and they have been dealing with it. They have been dealing with it all along. And listen, the phrase "protect women's sports." I've got a daughter. I coached, girls sports in multiple. I would have been that coach also if I felt like my players had been treated unfairly. So again, we've got organizations set in place to take care of this and have for a long time. Right. They should be getting it right, and they've got their criteria. We seem to be in a different kind of world in that space now than we were in the past. So they've got to get it right. But for me, it came down to it's right in the bill, the ability to perform anatomy checks on kids. And I don't know who that is. I don't know who's charged with that, but I do know we've got organizations already addressing it.
Let's go to Harmony on the radio with a question for Congressman Manion.
Oh, I didn't really have a question for Congressman Manion, but I do want to add to something kind of interesting. Okay. I don't know, just quickly. There's actually a thing called microchimerism. Are you familiar?
I can hear that. So, yeah, I mean,
because you don't have headphones.
There are people that, I don't have headphones. Sorry, that's okay. But again, I was a biology teacher.
Yes.
This is not the standard thing you're teaching in classes. You're just not.
Right.
But as somebody who was a teacher and also a biology major, you watch CSI enough. Or one of those. I don't watch it anymore. But you learn some interesting things about the biology of lots of species, including humans. So you could test a cell, and it could come up with a certain DNA, and then you could test another one, and the DNA could be different. Listen, I'm not a urologist or pediatric urologist, nor do I want to be.
Right.
It's just there are situations where it's not. You need. I'm a biology teacher. You need males and females to keep the species going, but it's in the world of living organisms, there's differences like was mentioned by your caller.
Okay, Harmony, I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll get to in a second with whatever you have. Anything you want to wrap with, you want people to know? And I know the Chobani thing is one of the things. We did finally get you headphones, so it might be a little late, but we got them for you. Thank you, Davey. Anything you want people to know going forward here? And
yeah, well, listen, thank you for having me on. I'm as somebody who grew up here, in the city of Syracuse and Onondaga County, I really care about the region. And when I ran for state senate and I won, the bottom line is we're here to help people. We're here to help organizations. I've got a great constituent services team. We're helping people all the time. I'm not going to go into details, but there was just a case out there that would bring tears to your eyes because basically there was something that was happening with an insurance issue. Basically, this person wasn't going to, the trial that they were in, they weren't going to be able to participate in. That changed. Now, we can't always deliver results like that, and we don't even know if my office did it, was sort of the driving force to get, and it's really out of our typical skill set or what we were able to do. but we are here to help. When people turn to us, I say they're frustrated. They've gone through every other option, and we're here. So, if people want to voice their concerns to me, but more importantly, for my staff to be able to help them on casework, on constituent services issues, go to manion.house.gov. We are also anticipating a Utica office opening.
That was going to be my next question.
It's a long story, but we had a place secured, and it's a little bit of an arduous lease process with the federal government in an organization called GSA. We had it almost done. The landlord got a better offer, like a longer lease, and cut us out of it. And it was a building where previous representatives have used. Then there was, in the Doge space, a pause on credit for that organization. So we're in kind of no man's land for a little while, but we're going to be in the state office building in Utica, and that should be happening in the next month or two. So regardless of that, the easiest way to access us for help, if you got an issue, veterans have an issue, Social Security, any of those federal government things, let us know. And even if they're not, we'll get you to the right representative to help you.
I have to ask you about West Hill before you go, being from Syracuse. Kids, dear God.
Well, this is, again, this is an awful situation that is being addressed. No kid should ever have to go through that. I coach multiple sports. My kids went to West Hill. All right, so they've all graduated, and I can say I know the superintendent, who's a good guy, who took this seriously. I know, in the athletic department, I don't know this new coach as well, but I do hear that if he had known anything about this, he would have addressed it. And the previous coach, my son had a fantastic experience with them. They were very successful, went all the way to the state championship.
One of the great lacrosse programs in the state.
They are, really. So listen, this should not have happened. The district attorney, the superintendent, all took this very seriously. It's unfortunate that they're going to lose their season because some of these kids, but with the gravity, that's right. But with the gravity of the situation, right now at this time, I do support that decision, which is not an easy decision to make.
Yeah. Congressman John Manion, I always appreciate, and listen, you're going to have people that don't agree, and I usually hear from them for a couple of days after you leave, but you're here, and there's nothing more important than sitting down and answering questions. We appreciate that tremendously.
I agree. I appreciate the opportunity. People need to hear from their representatives, and ultimately, we're in a very divisive political time. But we're kind people here in upstate New York. We've got to get around to working together. I think most of us are in the middle, and even if we're not, we've got to be able to talk to each other because, I'm not just looking at the next vote or even the next election. I'm looking at the next generation, right? Yeah. So let's get it right. And this gives me a chance to talk to people, answer their questions, and again, let's just say somebody I'm close to who's not of my party affiliation said, not about me, about themselves. You can't please. Whatever you do, you're going to upset somebody.
Yeah.
And you got to listen. If I don't listen, I'm not going to be a good reflection of the district. So
I have learned all that in radio as well. It's, somehow it works here as well. Congressman, thank you. We appreciate it.
And thank you to the assemblyman.
It's not a long reach across the aisle.
The two of you were so close.
I know.
That was awesome. All right.
Literally rubbing elbows.
Yeah. Literally. All right.
Yeah. Well, can I just interject one thing before you go? He talked about his wrestling career and talked about our roast.
Amazing.
As I summarized his wrestling career, he spent more time on his back than a Tijuana hooker.
Oh, my God. Right. Cut to break.
All right. I was just about to say you were so well behaved, and then there you go. All right, quick break, and we'll come back. 8:31 at WIBX.
Not everyone who handles your personal information is as careful as you are, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock will monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. And if your identity's stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com. LifeLock. For the threats you can't control, terms apply.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a better offer. A brand new free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan. Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. Herkimer County Legislature Chairman Robert Hullum has resigned. He said in a letter released yesterday that he will be stepping down from his position immediately, saying it is the best for the county and its residents. Although he's no longer chairman, he will still serve on the legislature. Vice President Peter Campione will serve as the interim chairman of the Herkimer County Legislature. Hullum has been arrested 3 times since last May and is currently being held at Oneida County Jail without bail. He was first arrested on drug and open container charges on May 19th and then again on September 11th for storing a weapon unsafely. He was arrested again for violating terms of his probation. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is asking the public to help them find their most wanted person of the week. Authorities are searching for 35-year-old Nicole Bornschein, who is wanted on a charge of burglary in the 3rd degree and for violating the terms of drug court. She is now wanted on a bench warrant. Bornschein is described as 5'2", a white female who is approximately 130 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Her last known address is in Oneida. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477. You could read the full story on WIBX950.com. A Little Falls woman faces felony welfare fraud charges. According to the Herkimer County Sheriff's Office, 27-year-old Fanya Halam is accused of taking over $3,500 in benefits she wasn't entitled to over a 12-month period. She was arrested and charged with grand larceny, welfare fraud, and offering a false instrument for filing, all of which are felonies. Halam was arraigned and released on her own recognizance. She is due back at Little Falls City Court at a later date. Americans are being urged to pay attention to their mental health this month. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which has been observed in the U.S. since 1949. A leading doctor in the U.S., Dr. Jen Brohl of the American Academy of Family Physicians, is urging people to find healthy ways to cope with stress. Experts recommend having a healthy work-life balance and finding a support system to avoid social isolation. And a woman recognized as the oldest person in the world is dead at age 116. Sister Ina Canavaro Lucas died Wednesday in Brazil. Her death was announced by the Congregation of Teresian Sisters of Brazil, who said her life was full of dedication and devotion. The mantle of the world's oldest person now passes to Englishwoman Ethel Caterham, age 115. She's thought to be the last surviving subject of King Edward VII. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
All right, wrapping up the week with a little damp weather. Could be some damp streets left over this morning, a few showers, maybe even a thunderstorm through about midday, but I think into the afternoon we'll get at least a little bit of sunshine with the passing shower, thunder showers, 75. Showers, thunder showers back tonight, scattered around 52. A few showers around tomorrow with a high of 60, and Sunday more showers likely, 62. I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Now through May 31st, get up to $160 back by mail on a Firestone prepaid MasterCard. Get up to $80 when you buy a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Get up to an additional $80 when you make an eligible tire purchase with your CFNA credit card. Subject to credit approval, restrictions apply. See Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair with locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Learn more at tallmanstire.com or firestonerewards.com for details.
Trust & Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust & Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust & Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust & Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Jake Cannell with Blues here of the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever.
It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY on stage live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
The official coffee of this radio program that you've been
Utica
drinking.
coffee, I'm sure.
That you've been drinking is Daylight Donuts.
Oh, yeah.
In New Hartford. And Daylight is Seattle's.
That's
Thank
close.
you for that. Yes, close and no cigar. Daylight Donuts, which is Seattle's best coffee. And the beauty of Daylight is, first of all, they make everything fresh there. That's something that doesn't happen anymore.
You're right there.
A lot of stuff's shipped in, and everything is made there fresh, including the donuts, the croissants, fresh every single day. And the beauty is the drive-through is lightning fast. You're in, you're out, and you're on your way. Despite what Mark Butler says.
Yeah.
But that's what we've been feeding you. It's kept you awake.
It's kept me alert.
And your age, it's not
ain't easy.
Not easy. Harmony, I know you've been waiting, and I've got you back here. Good morning. What are we talking about?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm just going to get to the end game right here.
Okay.
And I am calling to announce that I am going to be running for the Herkimer County Legislature.
For the Herkimer County Legislature. Wow.
Yes,
I forgot
sir.
you're in Frankfurt, right?
No, I'm actually in Ilion.
In Ilion. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So are you running in would that be the Hallam seat?
It will be. And it's just amazing how this all happened. God is good. That's all I got to say. Well, I got so much more to say, but you know me. So anyways,
You always do, yes. So you're running for that seat. Are you running? Do you run as? Would that mean you're running as a Democrat?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't judge me now.
I'm not. You know me. I would never judge you. For God's sakes.
Oh goodness! So to me, I mean, we're talking about the congressman on there. This is the first time I've heard from him, on the radio, and I just want to say he sounds like a wonderful person. I would love to meet him. And he touched on so many things that I'm, that I've been focusing on, and that's been coming to me, and I feel like, I'm running as a Democrat. I was always people tried to persuade me to change my party, saying, you're more Republican than you are Democrat. What the heck are you doing, Harmony? And, I've always called myself dumb and confused because I'll be honest with you guys, because that's what my platform is, honesty, right? So, and we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest with each other, and to talk about conflict solutions and management, especially in government. We're supposed to be governing these people, but we need this desperately in this time, this day and age. But anyways, Democrat. I've always called myself demo confused because I said, I'd be honest with you.
Harmony, is there do you have another Democrat that's running, or are you? Will there be a primary?
I don't know. I don't know. I decided this. You guys are the very first.
Okay.
Besides my Facebook followers. So
have you filed yet officially?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. I'm going down today, and the cool thing is I'm going to take everybody, because I broadcast my life. I broadcast the good, bad, and the ugly. You got it all right there. There's no need for smear campaigns. It's all right there. I gave it to you. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to show people how this is done from the bottom up, and just to encourage people that they can also.
Well, we congratulate you on your decision, and I can't wait to hear more from you. And thank you for waiting as long as you did. So thank you.
I'm going to visit Bob today at the Oneida County Jail. I thought it would be appropriate. So I'm going to go pay him a visit and see what goes on with him.
So do you know Bob?
I called him once on the phone after I found out he was my legislator, and then I found out that what he was going through with his first arrest. And, I called him to encourage him and to let him know, keep fighting the good fight. I mean, and if you never have, learn how to, because you can use this as a platform. And this is what I'm doing. I've got a lot going on in my life right now, and he doesn't, we don't need to indict him. We are not the judge,
Fair enough. Okay.
Everybody has their own issues, and it could range from one thing to another. His might be addiction. The next person could be a workaholic, a compulsive behavior. So none of us are exempt from this.
Right.
But I just wanted to add that. So I'm going to go give him some encouragement
All right.
there. So.
Well, I appreciate the update on your plans there. Thank you, Harmony.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Have a great day. All right. Interesting. Do you want to? She did not say anything nice about you. I noticed. I felt really bad there. I felt a little like that she left you out.
Nice one, Harmony. Thanks a lot. But Bill.
Yes, sir.
I got to tell you, I've been a little hurt. I thought you were mad at me. I haven't heard from you in months and months and months and maybe even years. So I hope whatever it was, we've accomplished it, because I came here to brag a little bit.
You did. Well, I want to have you hold on to your brag.
All right.
And let me do a couple of quick things, and then I'm going to give you the floor to brag.
All right. Thank you.
No ill feelings here whatsoever, by any means, Mark. Well, up until today. Dan Cummings is a former anchor at WSYR in Syracuse. This event that is going on this weekend, the honor flight for veterans, taking off from Syracuse. This is enormous. Yeah. If you've any, these events will bring you to tears.
Yes.
And Dan is on the line right now. Dan, good morning. Thanks so much for coming on.
Good morning, Keeler and company. It's great to be here. I told my wife I'm making my Utica radio debut today.
And listen, this is it's funny. I was talking about radio today and how it's changed. We're almost to the point in Syracuse and Utica where there are more radio stations than DJs. Welcome to
that's the truth.
It's scary this day and age. So welcome, and this is just an awesome event. Talk about what's going on here.
Keeler, it's mission 22 for Honor Flight Syracuse. 22 times over the past 13 years, once in the spring and once in the fall, we take a plane load of 82 veterans to Washington. And the whole thing about Honor Flight is it's at no cost to the veterans, and it gives them a chance to visit the memorials and the monuments that were built to honor their sacrifice and service. Otherwise, a lot of them would never be able to make the trip, and Honor Flight takes care of that. We've got 82 vets going out tomorrow, and 66 of the 82 served us in Vietnam. And how wonderful and solemnly wonderful that 50 years and 3 days after the end of the Vietnam War, with the evacuation of Saigon, we are now bringing this plane load. And you know better than I do that you talk to these men who served us in uniform. They never got a welcome home years ago. Well, it's quite the contrary. And now Honor Flight does that for them, and it's going to be tremendous.
I remember when this all started, and really was for World War II veterans, right? And as they are, getting fewer and fewer based on age, and I just thought that was a wonderful program, and to watch the videos, it was incredible. But it dawned on me though that why stop there? You have Korea and Vietnam, and then as time goes on, we've been at war for quite some time. So this is great for veterans.
Yeah, when we started Honor Flight Syracuse and the Honor Flight Network nationwide back in 2005, the World War II memorial had just been finished a few years earlier, and it's beautiful. And we used to have flights of 82, Keeler, that 75 of them would be World War II veterans. Now, tomorrow, we've got exactly one World War II veteran making the flight. 66 who served in Vietnam and another 10 who served in Korea. And as you mentioned, another half dozen or so who have served in more recent conflicts, these wars you refer to. And they're coming because their health is not so good. So we always want to make sure that if a veteran is particularly ill and a little bit weakened, that they go to the top of the list. They fly as soon as we can, because we have quite a waiting list of veterans who want to fly.
How do you raise money for this? Do you need any? I think I heard a story where you're looking for some volunteers. I mean, what do you want people to know?
Well, I tell you what, donations and volunteers are always welcome because we run 100% on private donations. It's all volunteer. Nobody draws a paycheck for Honor Flight. The veterans go for free, and it costs somewhere between $500 and $600 per veteran to fly. So we depend on corporate donations, and we've got a lot of companies who've been with us from the beginning. But I'll tell you what, we depend on private individual donations of any size. If you go to honorflightsyracuse.org, thanks for asking, honorflightsyracuse.org, there'll be a place both to donate and to volunteer, or to also sign up yourself or a veteran who you love to make the flight, so you can get them on the waiting list too. Yeah.
All right, well,
it's going to be great.
I'm so glad that that we're still doing this and that it's as successful as it is right now. And when you talk about these Vietnam veterans, they did not have the popular return home back in the 70s. It was really tough for them.
It was very tough for them. This is their chance to be welcomed home with the respect and the honor they deserve for having put on the uniform and served our country. You must know Tom Buono over there in the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah.
Tom is on our board, and it's just great. And so, I appreciate the airtime. I mean, we're really excited about it, Keeler, and gosh, God bless everybody in the Mohawk Valley. It's great to be on your show.
Well, we appreciate it, Dan, and thank you for being a part of this and making this helping make this all happen. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
You do the same. Thanks. We'll be watching. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Awesome program, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Really
we did in Herkimer County.
Yeah.
If you recall, we did a couple trips down to the Capitol for some.
Danny Enu was organizing some of that down there.
Yeah,
and,
I think George Aney had some involvement.
Just see their reaction.
Yeah.
Is incredible. So,
great thing.
All right, great deal right there, Davey. Quick break though, and we'll come back, and then he takes the floor. Mr. Mayor will take the floor. Coming up at WIBX.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The morning, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Well, we're in the final minutes of this morning, and Mark Butler was nice enough to come in and guest host here. Stand by, because I have one more thing I have to get to before.
Jeez.
Because Lucia wanted to say hello to you. She's a huge fan. Are you able to hear? You can grab
No,
grab those headphones.
Well,
if you
I can.
You can hear off my headphones.
Yeah,
I think you can. Good morning, Lucia. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's Friday.
Wow, what a great show! And you had Mr. Manion on. It was phenomenal. But I wanted to reply to that because what he's saying is good, but I disagree with some of the stuff that he's discussing 100%.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
what do you disagree with? What are the parts that you disagree with?
I disagree that he's trying to defend the workers and the land. What do you call the farmers? Blah blah. Well, that's a good issue, but the thing is, why do we need some of those people here that might be criminals working in the land?
Well, listen,
what are they going to do next? It's complicated.
Yeah. It is
the
very...
should have never been opened.
Okay.
That created a problem.
Hold on a second. This is decades of problem. This is built through administrations that were Republican and were Democrat. There is a very different situation from the migrant workers who are working for farmers and the gang member that's going and raping some young girl in New York City. That's a very different situation. And what he said, and this is where I'm going to tell you, and I really don't care what anybody thinks because I'm just going to lay it out here because I have Mark Butler here to have my back. The fact is, what he said is the farmers are saying we are desperately in need of this to be fixed. Whatever you have, because years and years have gone by where we, the government, we, the people, administration after administration in both parties have looked the other way and allowed this to fester and get to the point where we are today. But just to remove them and not try to fix this problem and leaving these farms without the workers, I don't know what happened to Americans. We don't do that work apparently anymore. You can't find anybody to do that work. And I have talked to Republican farmers who have said these are good people who work. All they want to do is make a better life for their families. We've got to find a way to fix this because my farm can't survive without it. Now, are there ways to come here legally? There absolutely are. But these aren't people who snuck into America. These are people we brought here. You have to understand you're dealing with two different things here. This is not the migrant who snuck over the southern border and is bringing drugs in. We brought these people here, and now all of a sudden we're saying, oh, you're not legal, we don't want you. After years and years of looking the other way, we got to fix this, and we need to do it, especially right now when the demand on farmers is going to be greater than ever. Would you agree with me, Mark?
I would agree.
I mean, conservative Republican Mr. Butler.
That's great.
With this Chobani announcement, there's so much demand on farmers right now. We got to fix this. That's all I'm saying. And I believe that's what he said, to be honest. I mean, nobody likes a rapist, right? Some piece of garbage that's sneaking in illegally, Lucia. And we know, we get it, all of that. But I just, to be fair to him, he's not supporting illegal aliens here. He's just saying farmers are telling him it's got to be fixed, and it does.
Right. I heard that, and that's what I'm with him, and I'm with you, and I understand all of it. But the thing is, opening the border even more, it did not help us to destroy the country.
And I don't think there's anybody saying that should happen here today.
But it's complicated, too complicated to discuss. But you are right, Bill, and so is, Mr. Manion in a way, But that's my view,
All right. Yes. Well, I very much appreciate your view, and I have to give the floor to Mark Butler here because he has things to say. All right.
I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. And I thank you, okay?
Good
and
stuff.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Happy Kentucky Derby weekend. Mark Butler. Goodbye. Good morning.
Thank you, Bill. I just have to say I have to begin because I kind of have the feeling you're painting a picture of me as a conservative Neanderthal. I want to tell you I am multi-dimensional.
Listen, you never cease to amaze me.
But I do want to tell a quick little story, and it's kind of cute. First of all, I take a little testosterone supplement, just a spray under my arms once a day.
Nice.
Because a few years ago, I started blathering away like a little liberal, so the doctor thought I needed some medications.
And it's just a little spray.
Yeah, a little spray.
Beautiful.
So I have an 18-year-old granddaughter, and we love her dearly. We've raised her, and she's at college now. She came home for Easter vacation. We had made plans to visit our son in Rochester. She had a job here. She decided to stay home for the weekend.
Yeah.
So we came home from Easter Sunday night, and all over the house she's plastered these, and, we went through the teenage years, 16, 17, 18.
I understand.
They had our issues. All over the house are pasted these wonderful notes. I love you. I appreciate all you've done for me. You are my real parents, on and on and on and on. I called her the next morning, and she said, well, I wanted it to be like an Easter egg hunt for you. So I called her the next morning, and I said, that was wonderful. I had a little tear in my eye when I read some of those things. And she said to me, Dad, you better give yourself a couple extra pumps there on that medicine.
You're back to being a liberal again.
Yeah.
One of the things that people don't know about you are a very giving person, and you will not find a more proud grandfather than you are. Oh, yeah. And to assume that by calling you a conservative means that you're cold and have no heart, I think that's a total misjudgment. Completely.
Thank you for that. I think I've changed your attitude a little here today.
You can be conservative and caring, and you're a perfect example of that. So,
well, thank you, Bill.
Yeah, and it is, Davey. What's my out time? Am I right to the top? I sometimes forget when you tell me that. Anything else you want to add here before you?
I think you've covered it all.
Will you have me back?
Will you have me back?
I thought that might be one of your questions. I think we could. I think we could get you back here. I'll have to ask Congressman Manion, see what he thinks.
Yeah. But this starting at 6:15 in the morning, now that I'm retired.
We might have to do it a little later for you.
Yeah.
It's not easy getting it. Although you were here before me.
I know.
I thought
I was going to have to take over the show because we were worried, me and Davey.
I want to leave you
We
with,
are all here before you, Bill.
Thank you, Davey. And I carry that as a badge of honor almost here. Brain Construction. If you're looking for masonry work and concrete work, they do it all. And I know it's going to be raining. It's going to be nice today for the most part, kind of nice. The next few days are rainy, but you can get some days in if you get on the list and make your project the next project. From stone walls to stairs and cellarway entrances, basement floors, or one of those grand stairways made of stone that look like it's been there for a decade, for a century, going into your backyard like we had. They do tremendous work. Call them today at 315-894-3481. It's Brank Construction, 894-3481. Tomorrow is the Kentucky Derby. We did not get Scott on because we went long. It is what it is. Had the congressman on, but hopefully everybody makes a lot of money tomorrow, like I never, ever, ever have at the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. News next after that. Kill me.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
More hiring than expected. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. We just found that out about April.
Payrolls increased by 177,000 in April. Unemployment rate unchanged at 4.2%.
Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti. That's about 30% better hiring than economists were expecting, but it's slightly less than March's job creation, which was revised down to 185,000 jobs. The better-than-expected report has stock futures surging on Wall Street. President Trump will send his budget proposal to Congress today as Republicans keep working on a big bill to fund his agenda and extend the 2017 tax cuts and also make cuts in non-defense spending after all the work Elon Musk and Doge have done to identify waste, fraud, and abuse to cut out of the federal government.
According to the department, about $160 billion thus far. That's about $1,000 a taxpayer, though short of the $2 trillion Musk initially had targeted. Musk says Doge must be a long-term enterprise. If not, he says the waste will return. Musk's special government employee status is scheduled to end May 30th. Democrats want him out now. They accuse Doge of way overinflating savings, cutting vital government services, research, and foreign aid.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House.